So look, GrowthCon, what's this all about? GrowthCon started as an idea because we see so many agents trying to grow and work through many of the changing landscapes and the markets in their business. And I have so many amazing friends that are leaders and thought leaders and speakers and teachers that I get to glean from. I get to text them and talk to them all the time, and it helps me to grow. And my heart's desire was to basically tap them and have all of them pour into you guys for 3 hours. This is a free event. It's sponsored by Ylopo. We've been hard at work at Ylopo to plan an in-person summit. You'll hear more about it in April in South Carolina in April 22nd and 23rd. But that's going to be practical. And I just know, for me personally, changing my mindset has been so impactful. And that's actually why I've asked my co-host, Janelle Quick, to jump on with me, because she is crushing the mindset lately. You would agree, it's a big deal, right?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm honored that you asked me to co-host this with you. The lineup today is amazing, and I'm really excited to just learn from all of you. I know you're all my friends, but the fact that we get to do this today is amazing. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we'll all grow together. Well, Preston, I'm going to ask Preston to speak in just a moment. Before he does, Tiffany Gelzinis, the head realtor in residence over at Follow Up Boss, is actually out of town, and she wanted to send a quick 2-minute video that I want to share. It's just such a great way before Preston kicks us off. So here is Tiffany Gelzinis from Follow Up Boss.
Happy Friday, everybody. I am so happy to be here with you for just a couple of minutes. I am Tiffany Gelzinis. I'm the realtor in residence for Follow Up Boss and a real estate agent running a team out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I just want to take a couple of minutes and just talk to you about mindset and perspective on just one situation. Have you guys ever heard of the saying, comparison kills joy? It is a really true thing in our industry. We spend a lot of time comparing ourselves to others, and we see their social media profiles, we see what they're showing and showcasing online, and they got the better listing, they have more sales, they have more agents than us, and we just compare ourselves to others so often. But when was the last time that you actually sat down to reflect on where you've come from? To actually celebrate the journey or celebrate the gap of where you started and where you are now. And I think that that's a really impactful thing to do. It was one of the most impactful things that I've ever done. It was a couple of years ago, and it just kind of hit me one day. And I was thinking about, where was I 10 years ago? I had just gotten into real estate. I didn't have a team yet. I was just hustling every single day and trying to make ends meet and doing whatever I had to do, to where I am now and feeling like I have accomplished something. And I haven't accomplished everything that I want. I still want a bigger team and I still want more production, but I have had a really amazing journey. And taking that moment to just celebrate the journey and celebrate the gap of where I started and where I've come was just really a monumental moment for me. So I would encourage you guys to think about that when you're feeling like you just don't know what to do today or how to move forward, or if you feel like you're not enough or you're not accomplishing enough fast enough. Celebrate the gap, celebrate where you've come from, and be grateful for that journey. So I hope that this is helpful to you guys, and I hope that you're enjoying this day that Ylopo is putting on for you. But have a fantastic day and a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys all soon.
Such a great way to start off the mindset. Stop comparing ourselves. Such great and wise words from somebody that's crushing it in our business. So look, next we've got Preston Guyton, founder of Easy Home Search, partner at Reside and Cheplak Digital, just a prince of a guy, unassuming, super quiet, but I got to hang out with him a while ago. And Preston, I was super impressed with your approach to business. And I believe you're going to be talking to us today a little bit about, the mindset of converting leads at different points of their journey. So I'm going to get out of your way, buddy, and let you get to it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to start slides. Hold on. Let me get this going.
We see it.
See it? Sweet. 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 Cool. Yeah, I'm going to talk about, and really you think about understanding lead generation at the different points of the search journey. A lot of that is not about what you advertise online or what you put online. A lot of that's going to be about, what you do once the leads come in. I'm fortunate to be in Reside, and personally, we've generated, it's me and two other people that do the lead gen for Easy Home Search, and it's actually Digital Maverick now. It was Cheplak Digital, and we converted to Digital Maverick about a year ago. But over the last 3 years, we've generated about 300,000 leads for teams and companies across the country. So we have a unique advantage to see kind of what's working on the lead gen stage. And really, then we have the other part with Digital Maverick, where we're in 80+ teams, and we could see, which teams are converting at the highest level, which teams are, just generating the most contracts and the most transactions from the leads they're getting. And it's really not about, everybody's like, oh, long tail keywords, do this, do that. I want to get, how can I advertise to an audience that are most likely to transact? And I wish I had that secret, right? But it's something that is impossible. So a couple of things I'm going to talk about is, and I'll skip this part. It's stuff, most of this I've done over the last 5 years, like the different companies, but I'll skip right to this part. So when I think of marketing, when you think of marketing and lead gen, there's really two types of marketing, right? When you're looking online, there's interruption marketing. And the big mistake a lot of people will make with interruption marketing, that's me doing something, all of a sudden something pops up in my face, and you click on it, and all of a sudden, a lot of times people are asking for that registration. And that interruption marketing works in if you're selling event tickets, or you're selling hats, or you're selling something that you've been, something that's not very expensive. But if you're trying to pull somebody away from whatever they're doing to, sign up and search for homes, it's really not the best. It's not that, you think about where your mental state is, and all of a sudden this is in your face, and a lot of times you're going to make people upset more so than you're actually going to generate leads. And really, the leads that you generate, probably have more than half of them, are going to be bad information, right? So, when you're thinking about running ads, or if you're running ads, or the company that you're hiring is running ads, just make sure you understand what type of ads are being run. And if you are doing this type of advertising, that's great. It's great for branding, brand recognition. If you're giving away free content, giving away free education, that's the best use of this type of marketing. But when you're trying to drive registrations and getting people to actually register to do something, it's not the best option. The other thing I'm going to talk about is, marketing at the point of search. That's really what you really want to focus on when you're generating leads, hiring a company to generate leads. And that's going to be, I'm actually searching for something at that time, and then you're going to show it to them. A lot of the problems that I see with people that try to run their own ads, they'll run something and it's, I'm going to advertise Virginia Beach homes for sale, or Virginia Beach waterfront homes for sale. And then I'm going to push them to a page that isn't Virginia Beach waterfront homes for sale. And I got to click another button to get to potentially, or I got to search myself. The consumer right now, over the last 20 years, the amount of time that we have to capture somebody is a lot less. There's an instant gratification, like, hey, when I go to a page, I want to see what I'm looking for. I don't want to have to click a couple more times to go to where I need to be. So when you think about that, I mean, you probably have, I've heard 3 seconds, but really like a lot of the studies that I've seen, it's 8 seconds, right? So you have 8 seconds to grab somebody at that point. 20 years ago, it was 12 seconds. And it just continues to go down because we're so used to now instant gratification. So when you're doing, running ads for search, or when you're designing a landing page or whatever it may be, just understand that less is more. Simple is more. Like, if you want more leads, make it simple. If you want more people to take action, give them less choices. I started before where I'm at today. I started a construction company, design company, and we had a real estate brokerage side. And we learned quickly that when you're doing custom homes, you don't send them to the plumbing store. You give them 2 or 3 options, and then they make a choice a lot faster. If you want a house to take a lot longer to build, then send them to the stores instead of giving them a couple choices. So when you're thinking about lead generation or you're thinking about the type of ads to run, just understand the ones that are you're going to get better content, you're going to get better information from them is going to be the leads when you're running at the point of search. And they're going to be higher intent. A lot of times you're going to get good information, right? Just think about the landing page you're sending them to, whether it's an open house or whatever it may be. So, and I just went through this. I mean, really speed aside is very important when you think about that. You don't have a lot of time. Like if you go to a site and there's a long loading long loading time, and that could be the way you design the pages. If you add a bunch of photos, you add a bunch of video, and all of a sudden that page gets super heavy. Most people, when they're searching for real estate, they want to see photos. All right, so give them photos as quick as you can. Have less friction, you used to, whenever somebody was registering using Google or Facebook, it automatically pulled phone numbers. And now with privacy laws, it doesn't do that anymore. So you still give them those options, but if you want to capture phone numbers, you're going to have to ask a question for that phone number, either right after they click or further down that process. So, and this is where you got to think about mindset. So many people want the lead that comes in that's going to transact in the next week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And that's not going to happen the majority of the time. Really, when you look at conversion or look at lead generation, the message that you send matters. Like that's what matters. Like, we talked at Salt Lake City this past week. And one of the questions I asked the crowd was, how many of you have action plans that you bought from a vendor that you've never even read the action plans and you send them to the consumer, right? And, and you hear the comment over and over again, well, I don't know what to send. Well, we're in real estate every single day. The consumer is not in real estate every single day. So whatever you send them based on real estate, 90% of the time they have no idea, right? Like if you're say I'm in Myrtle Beach or Virginia Beach and I'm searching there and it's a general search, but hey, why don't I send them information of different areas in Myrtle Beach and why the prices are different? So you educate them throughout that process. And really lead generation is more about what you say to the consumer after they come in than what that lead is when they come in. So if you create that relationship and focus on that message that you're sending them and not just, hey, I'm going to buy an action plan and magic's going to happen and they're going to convert because 50 other agents in my market are sending the same action plan. So really focus on being different, and that's lead generation. Great, you're going to generate leads, but it really matters like that communication, that conversation you have after they register. And that's really what I tell people to focus on. Like, it's not about how you generate the lead, it's more about the conversation you have after they come in and how you continue to communicate with them. And then your agents, if you're a team leader, your agents will have better conversations. They'll recognize who they are when they mention your company. When they're prospecting, most likely if you're having conversations with that consumer after they register, it's going to be better conversations on the phone. So the agents, most likely the person's going to be willing to answer the phone more often instead of just like your agents complaining, oh, these leads suck. We don't know who you are. Well, yeah, because as a leader, you've done a bad job of communicating with that consumer and sharing information they actually want to read. I already said that. And the other thing to think about too, like, is how you deliver messages, what type of platform you use. And I know Alex is going to talk more about that in email delivery and everything else. But, if you're thinking about sending newsletters, something like MailChimp works very well, or, different CRMs you use. There's a lot of options. I think a lot of people jump to, hey, I'm going to send dedicated IP because that sounds like the best way to do it. Well, understand with dedicated IP addresses, you got to manage them yourself because most platforms don't have the option to manage those. So a lot of times if you're sending messages, a shared IP would be the best way to send them. And then just pay attention to delivery, like delivery, what the delivery rate is, how many people are opening the email, and then use that information to then, that's who you contact, right? Like, hey, I want to build a list of people and I'm going to use open rate. I'm going to use all this information to then contact them that way. But, using those resources more after the lead registers instead of, you know, instead of hey, I'm going to convert this lead as soon as they come in. I mean, really, you know, I always tell people like focus more on the conversation after the fact. You know, there's a good book to read that I would recommend is Oversubscribed, and they talk about and oversubscribe the 7-11-4 method, right? So if you want to build a relationship with a consumer, there's 7 hours of content. You need to have 7 hours of content that they could, and that doesn't mean like, oh God, I need 7 hours of videos. You could have the content they could consume as social media, the content they could consume as your newsletters. You're more likely to get somebody to move to that area where they're actually going to transact because they feel like they've built a relationship with you. Like if I watch 7 hours of video of Barry, I think he's my friend, right? Like I'm more willing to talk to Barry. Whenever I do talk to him, I feel like I have a connection because I've seen his head bobble for 7 hours and talk, you know, I've listened to is what he shared. So when you think about, and Oversubscribe does a good job of this, talking about 7-11-4. 7 hours of content, 11 touch points, meaning 11 different areas. It could be social media, it could be, you know, a newsletter, it could be a podcast, it could be videos you're sending to educate the consumer. And then 4 channels would be, you know, the channels of YouTube or whatever it may be. So, I mean, that's really when you're thinking, and that really changed my mindset on lead generation when I read the book and really thought about that process and, you know, building the relationship and focus on a relationship with consumer. Because you think about it, what do you think a majority of people send? Something they didn't write. I mean, because it's easy. Like, hey, let me turn on this action plan. I might not have read the 19th email that goes the 60th week or whatever it is. And that's what most people are sending. So when you're thinking about lead generation, conversion, really think about that, the content you're sending, the communication you're sending, and just write it yourself. And then read it and be like, would I read this myself? Would this be helpful to me if I wasn't in real estate? And just focus on simple. I mean, that's really for me, where it's lead generation, whether it's building pages, I always think about simple because using simple, you could always generate more leads. You could always, it's a lot easier to you know, activities and things like that if you just focus on the simple process. I don't know how much time I have. How much time I have?
You're about at time, but you also started, we started about 5 minutes late. So, you know, if you want to go for a little bit longer, because honestly, the comments, people are loving this, the mindset of the lead conversion. And for those that are wondering, Oversubscribed is the name of the book that he mentioned.
Yeah, Daniel Priestley.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me about the 7-11-14 or 7-11-4.
Yeah.
I wrote it down this time.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, and Janelle, you and I discussed this a lot with your moderating the Follow Up Boss group. It's finding content that's relevant to the people that are reading, right?
You were hitting the nail on the head. I was like, this is literally the conversations I've been having with the community, with moderators, and Barry and I had this conversation yesterday. So
yeah, it's, you know, when you think about it, like the content you share, it's like we struggle with the idea of we're all human, we're all so much alike, you know, and the struggles that most consumers have when it's around real estate, they don't know it like we do. You know, we forget that we're in this business day to day, every day, and the consumer, on average, they purchase a house 5 to 6 times throughout their life, so it's not an experience they're used to going to or going through. And especially when they're moving to like new areas, like they start that process of just kind of a general search, and everybody wants, oh, I want the long tail keyword or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. I would rather generate more leads than then speak to that that database that I have in a way of sharing helpful information and then move them down that pathway. You know, it's a lot. It just works out a lot better. And that's what we focus on and have been focused on is, you know, what happens after that. Like the lead generation part is the easy part. You know, that's the easy part, getting the leads in. The actual work happens after the lead comes in.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, when you think about the billion-dollar real estate portals in our country, they're obsessed with what you're talking about. They're obsessed about the consumer experience. Like they want it to be as easy as possible. So I think you're really hitting the nail on the head. And what we have to do is we have to action on that, right? Now, and also there have been some hands that have come up during Preston's talk If you do have a question, I want you to use the Q&A section. And Preston, if you could hang out for just a few minutes, that way we can see if there's some more questions that come up. Because I think anytime we're talking about the theory of lead conversion, just like you went over, people are starting to apply it into their life and business. And they're like, okay, well, wait, what about this? What about that? What about this? Because applying it is really the secret sauce. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, I mean that's where, if you do the work, you're ahead of 90% of most people, right? Like it's, just stay consistent. Like it's just little things, and these are things that I think about. I always think about, the time that I set certain things and that I have to do, and I set a time aside. Like I just bought a Tesla, and it's I think about now, okay, I got to take it because I don't have a charging setup at my house. Okay, I have, 30 minutes every 2 days. And what am I going to do in that 30 minutes? I'm going to write.
Okay.
So like, that's what I always think about is when everybody is always like, well, I don't have the time to do this. Well, I'm always finding time based on what I do in daily activities, whether it's going to my kids' practice or whatever it may be. So I'm like, hey, I got to go charge my Tesla every couple of days for 30 minutes. So that's going to give me time to do the things I need to do, or the writing that needs to happen that sometimes I don't do because I do, I am running in 40 different directions all the time with kids and everything else. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just doing it, right? That's where most
Sure.
fail. They just don't, they come up with an idea, they do it for a week or two if that lasts that long, and then they stop doing it. So,
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because this is something that comes up a lot at conferences that I attend. You mentioned, writing your own emails, your own action plans. So I do agree that with that statement, and I usually do say that to clients. I think they look at the big mountain they have to climb, and then they don't really see the view. How often are you recommending to go in and actually modify things like this? Are you also utilizing custom fields to fill in some of this information without going into too much depth? Can you give some information on that?
yeah, I mean, really, I write new emails every week.
You do?
Yeah, I just, because I'm speaking to individual agents and team leaders in some of my emails, and then some of the emails we're writing to the consumer.
Mhm.
So a lot, we do have some dynamic emails created based on activity, based on information we're gathering in people. So, I mean, we're generating 22,000 leads a month now. So we get a ton of information, ton of activity. But like the emails that I write that I get the biggest response, the biggest open rate, is stuff that I write that are at topic at that time, right? Like something I write today and send out 6 months from now, it might not make sense. It might not make sense in 6 months.
Yeah.
So I really talk about, because when you think about insurance, the changes in insurance and things like that, if I talk about that today, it might be different in 6 months. So, and that's why I say taking the time to write, because I've coached and become good friends with John through the years, and that's a big influence on what I do. But like I'll write 2 or 3 times a week, and I send it as an email. I put it in social media. I use it over different things. So I think speaking to the consumer matters what you write today more so than what you write that you're sending out 6 months from now. I mean, still sending like the e-alerts and all those things, obviously, the home value reports and things like that. But I think it's important to have new content weekly or at least monthly.
Really, really wise words from a master marketer. And I think all of us can learn something from that. So Preston, thank you so much, guys in the chat. If this helped you at all, if you're driving, don't do it. Even if you're in a Tesla, I want you just to put in the chat, thanks, Preston, show him some love. He took time out of his day. He's a busy guy. And I asked him to pour into us, and I was taking notes. So thank you so much, Preston. It looks like there are a couple of questions. So we'll have the team message you in the Zoom chat with those 2 questions so we can keep it moving. So, every year, G and I and Gabe and Howard, we run this in-person event called the Ylopo Summit. Every year we send the attendees, we ask them like, what's your favorite session, right? And much to my annoyance, G's product session is always the one that gets the best. Like I really bring the heat, but it's always G talking about the new toys. So what I asked him to do is to take like 3 minutes throughout this event here and there, and just to share something cool. All right. And of course, his preschooler is in need of his help this morning. So he'll be here. He's just not here yet. So I'm going to go over the first one without him. Nowhere near as intelligent as he is, but I'm going to do my best. Big idea. The Ylopo AI texting. This is for current users. If you're not a user, you can file this away, but if you're a current Ylopo customer, the AI just got a master's degree. And so now on new leads, if the lead responds, it used to be 25% of the leads were getting converted into ready for follow-up. With the new language model, and we're always testing new ones, by the way. There's Meta, there's the Google one, there's the ChatGPT. There's so many models, Gemini, all that. The AI has gotten a big upgrade. So now on new leads, 54%, right? You don't need to do anything. That's just an FYI. What you do need to do, and there's no money involved here, don't worry, is, with historically about 90% of the leads that AI was texting was new, and then 10% was your old stuff, right? And so what Ylopo has done is they've changed all the rules. It used to be if the lead saved a home, AI would wait a couple of days. Now they're texting within an hour. It used to be that we would send a text and there would be a 90-day or a 30-day cadence, right? So it'd be 30 days. Now there's a 90-day cadence. So the big idea here is that Ylopo's technology is intended to get you engagement across all of your leads, not just your new leads. So if you want this, you're going to have to fill something out if you want to activate this in your database for free. But we're enabling inactive campaigns on AI text. It's going to text 4% of your old leads, about 200 a day. And it'll have appropriate scripting. So the big idea here is the average, most of our users have larger databases. So if they have a 5,000 person database, every day there's going to be about 200 leads that are eligible for AI to text. With the old leads, 15% of those old leads are engaging. And so out of the 200, they get about 30 responses. Out of the 30 responses, about 30% of them are positive. So now it's about basically of your old leads, AI engages via text 8 to 10. So the big thing here is if you want AI reaching out to your old leads, scan the QR code and it's free if you're a Ylopo customer. So no money, but if you want to be added to this beta where AI is now, he wouldn't have used the word more aggressive, but I'm using the word more aggressive in cadence, in approach, in how often these are old leads. Go ahead and scan that QR code. Again, the master's degree, the upgrade to AI texting, that's already done. You don't have to do anything with that. But if you want AI engaging your old leads and there's no additional cost, go ahead and sign up for that beta with that QR code. And let me stop. Let's do
Wait a second, Barry. Sorry, how much is that upgrade? How much was the upgrade for all the work that we put in on that?
Free, 0 pesos, $0, 0 whatever other current form of currency, 0 Bitcoin. It is 0 Bitcoin to upgrade to the anyway. And then yes, you can do it while watching on your phone, Dave. All right, so let's do a quick poll. I want to do a poll. So if you could pull this up, we want to know what you guys are challenged with the most right now. So if Michelle could load that poll, do you guys see it? I don't know if I'm supposed to see it. We're trying to get fancy. Okay, here it is. How confident are you in your follow-up strategy? We just heard Preston go over follow-up. Are you crushing it? Could it be better? Or do you need serious help?
While they're doing that, Barry, will you throw up that QR code? A couple people asked for that again.
Yes.
If you're on your phone, you can screenshot it.
Yeah, but then how do you do that though when you screenshot a QR code?
Then you go grab your wife's phone and use it.
No, you can just hold it down once it's in the. Jeez, you guys are boomers. What are you guys doing?
Boomer. I'm not a boomer.
Go
All
grab
right.
your wife's phone.
All right, so there's the QR code. All right, so I'm going to take it down in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right.
There's the form stack output in there.
Okay, great. All right. So, will we get the results, Michelle, so we can assess what everybody's struggling most with, or what they would grade themselves? I just like asking the audience because, you know, this is about a mindset conference. So we've got 3% said they're crushing it. 3%, 68% said there's things that they could be better and need serious help. 30% need serious help. So
Nice.
and all right. All right, so what we want to do next is we want to move to Ryan Netter, who is I think it's Ryan Netter, right? Sorry, I was so busy moderating that I didn't look at the schedule. Rookie move. Yeah, it's Ryan Netter.
Ryan is next.
Ryan, you look surprised when I said your name. That's what threw me off. I was like, wait, what? All right. So the exciting thing with Ryan, so he's a strategic growth advisor. He is working with some of the largest and the most successful teams in America. And he's always calling me. Normally it's really late where I'm at, like it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. And Ryan is just explaining to me the challenges that teams are facing. And so I actually asked him if he could share the 3 dysfunctions that he's seeing in markets across the country. You know, what are some themes that he's seeing? And so, you know, without further ado, Ryan, we want to give it over to you and have you download on us what teams are struggling with right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Barry, for the opportunity. I'm excited to help everyone today. Let me get sharing my screen. All right. Today, I'm going to share the 3 biggest dysfunctions holding agents back from optimizing Ylopo and Follow Up Boss and closing leads into deals, right? My name's Ryan Netter. I'm a strategic account manager, like Barry said, here at Ylopo and Maverick RE, our sister company. And what does that really entail? Everybody always likes to ask me, right? Well, I dive deep into top teams and brokerages databases day in and day out, and I help them find ways on how to optimize their ROI with their tech stack. So let's dive into those 3 dysfunctions. Speed to lead and speed to relationship. We probably heard this a lot and probably heard it from our counterpart here, Travis Halverson as well. It's big for him. But leads go cold due to slow response times, right? And fast response is not always enough. Agents must also build rapport quickly. What do I mean by that? Well, working with the team out here in LA that you see with this example, when we talk about, you know, leads going cold due to slow response times, why not try automating instant responses with Ylopo AI, text, and voice, as you can see here in the example. What that allows you to do, again, like what Preston was talking about, is tailor a message towards the home profile that someone may have filled out on your profile and speaking towards that home profile, right? And automating, if you can't use AI today, we talked about it as well, action plans, right? Try to implement it yourself with consistency. An action plan that may send out an email automatically for yourself. And then I really like actually setting up tasks to send a text and to make a call on my own. Because now if I'm sending out a text automatically with my name in it, and now I'm making a call, maybe it will show up less as spam to the consumer and being able to reach them. The solutions that I've also been able to help with the team, dear to my heart out of Atlanta recently, is 5-minute response times and personal engagement strategy. And what we've implemented, shout out to Chris Snow from the Reside community with Money Time Pond. The Money Time Pond means that we're bringing all new leads in, probably not from sources like Zillow Flex or Market VIP with Realtor.com, but PPC leads and other top, other home light sources or different things like that you may be bringing into your system and bringing them into a pond that is less than 10 days old. What that allows, what you should also do is get agents to sign up on those shifts, around 3-hour shifts a day, that agents can put dedicated time to working that smart list. And the caveat here is not making any text or any emails and picking up the phone and trying to build a connection and a relationship. And the ability to ask for people for consultations up front that they are just browsing and just looking is so important in the market today, because we feel like we're just chasing leads constantly over the internet. Well, we have to ask for things, and we have to show people what your premium service is and what you're going to provide to them early in the process that they are just browsing. Let's get into dysfunction number 2. Agents, we hear this day in, day out, and we've heard it a lot, but I'm going to hit on it always. Poor lead nurture and follow-up. Agents quit on their leads, assuming the leads are always bad. We hear it. Team leaders always hear it, right? And then there's no structured long-term follow-up, which I believe and I've seen equals lost deals. They come back and they talk to the AI. Hey, I went a different way. I bought a house without you. Why? Right? Well, what I did with the team out of Utah recently, and near and dear to my heart, like I say, at 8 months, actually, Travis and I have been spending some time with them, is that we use Smart List to organize and automate follow-ups. Let's go through those here in this example. Set opportunity is the most important thing to them. Why? Because they're getting opportunities from their ISA that they need to follow up with in a timely manner in order to make the transaction make sense to the consumer, right? At risk of reassignment, this is huge, and shout out to the Maverick RE, our sister company, Measurability, Accountability, and Visibility, is that an at risk of reassignment goes through where a sales manager can nudge leads that are out of cadence and out of sequence of being followed up within that agent's name, and allowing them to have time or have some time to get in front of those leads. Or if not, they're going to be reassigned to a pond or a new agent because maybe it's just not the time for you to be having that lead. Maybe you weren't able to create a connection with that person, and maybe it's time for someone else to do that. Active clients. I think this is missed so much, right? We've moved them down the funnel. Now we've gotten to active client. Now what do? Well, active clients should be every single day, shouldn't have a communication preference. You should be in front of them, always updating them on the buying and selling journey and bringing things to them. That is the next step, and not them coming to you. So see them every day. Then we get into something that we've all heard probably multiple times in the Follow Up Boss community and Ylopo, is a hot, warm, and cold and nurture cadence to reaching out to leads. Hot, 3 days, warm, 14 days, cold, 30, and nurture, 45 days. What that allows you to do is focus on micro connections, personalized ways to check in with the consumer and not just say, hey, get back to me when you have a chance, right? Bring them something of value. Bring them something from the original conversation that you had with them. Hey, I wasn't able to buy because my son is not done with college yet. Hey, how's your son doing through college? Is he a straight A student? Those are always ways to build connections and build the relationships and overcome the objections of, hey, you ready to buy that house? No, I'm not ready. Of course not. My son is still not done with college, like I told you. And you kind of look a little dumb at that point, right? And like Preston said, sometimes it can write you off and the consumer is not going to come back now. And then they message AI, I bought without you. Also within these smart lists, it's so important to use some kind of remarketing to your database. Putting leads or ads in front of your leads, or in front of your consumers on Facebook and showing them your brand and houses that are changing based on different MLS statuses is so important to take that off of you. Now you can build those micro connections with them, showing them the ads that, hey, maybe you click back, we haven't seen you in a certain amount of time. And then that follow-up looks a little different when someone comes back in through these ads. Hey, are you looking to go buy this house? No, I'm 135 days without an activity. Maybe I was somewhere else, but you still don't know me. Start back up at the top, building that relationship with micro connections and tailored market updates with them. Let's go into dysfunction number 3. This is my all-time favorite. Shout out to Barry Jenkins. With those calls, I've been learning so much from you this year and your organization. But no clear system equals random, inconsistent agent actions. With those inconsistent agent actions, leadership struggles, guys, to track those efforts. What did you do? I don't know what this went. We're sitting in the middle of the meeting. I don't know. I'm not in your organization, right? But the solutions I have here, and near dear to my heart, like I keep saying, these clients are because I spend hours with them. And shout out to Danny Rinaldi, because I know he would love to hear this, out of Las Vegas, and Ryan Creighton. We started using dashboards for tracking response times and conversions with Maverick RE. We gamified the accountability. We made it fun in sales organizations again to come in, and they have an AI sales coach, which again, all these, I was on a call yesterday. We were trying to role play, and I'm asking the agent, don't put me on the spot. Well, I thought you said you're ready to be at bat. I thought you were taking these at bats constantly. You said you're ready for the lead. You're ready for these transfers. Doesn't sound like it to me. Right? But what we spent the time on with this team is that you can see back in July of 2024, they were calling into a bot, and you can see the number of calls graded was 10, an average call quality score of a 4. What does that mean? They probably most likely majority of the score is asking for an appointment. When did we get away from asking things in real estate and asking for that consultation and building our worth up? And as you can see, they only ask for the appointment 50% of the time. Now look at Money Time Pond. We've implemented some new AI right off the bat. We've implemented staying up on a structured follow boss smart list. And now look what they're doing in February of 2025. They have an average quality score of an 8, meaning they're asking for the appointment 86% of the time. Meaning, hey, maybe they can get away from the portal a little bit more from themselves. Maybe they can invest a little bit more into pay-per-click leads that are a little cheaper for them and get a higher ROI back into their business. The path to more closings, I believe, as I've shown you guys today, is speed to relationships equals higher conversions. Long-term nurture equals more closed deals over time. Believe in the consistency, guys. And I always talk about Travis and I have been partners for a long time. We see this day in and day out. Why focus on the new people when you have all this amazing technology keeping people on the line? It's all about your messaging. Accountability, and this is my favorite, like I said, equals a predictable and scalable business we are all looking to grow here today. Thank you so much for your time.
Wow, I'm ready to just end the webinar, start dialing for dollars. How about you, Janelle?
Kidding. Oh my word.
Oh, geez, so good.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, no, like, dude, I mean, look at the comments. Ryan is so passionate. This is refreshing. Ryan's the man. Great stuff. This was great. So awesome, Ryan. I think
got more fans than people.
Well, we're seeing a theme, Janelle, and I'm sure you're noticing it, but like, working on mindsets, like making it easy, right? Yeah, so many people. Ryan, would you say that these 3 dysfunctions are pretty pervasive? Like when you're talking to different teams across the country, like a lot of teams struggle with this?
It comes up, and even if it's a different way of looking at it, it comes up, right? Every team is a little different, but 100%.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. As you can tell, he says they're fired up. Thank you, Ryan. Don't forget to set the follow-up call once you get the conversation. Love that. Fantastic work, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, so we are gonna do a quick one more, and then G should be on the next ones. This is for another quick thing for current Ylopo users. There's a actually, I didn't share this right. Let me share it one more time so you guys can hear the narration. So share, update, and share. Okay, great. All right. So there's dynamic video ads. DIVAs is the acronym. There's a new model where you can just upload photos, and you upload those photos and it makes it like it's a video. One of the biggest things that people were complaining about with this feature was they couldn't select the photos. I know I had one where it was like a 3D tour of a toilet. And so, being able to choose the photos that you want, that you think consumers are going to be most interested, you can do that now. So here's an example. Again, all this is you uploaded photos, all right? And a 3D rendering with a tour, automated tour, like words describing the property. This is all automated. Just a photo. All right, you get the idea, right? And so these are $99. If you want to have narration done as well, there's a little bit more. But for current Ylopo customers, that's a new feature. I kind of liked how, these are just pictures, but like it looked like the camera was bouncing a little bit. Like that's a nice little touch. Yeah, that's the secret sauce, Scott. Somebody put in the chat. How are they getting video from stills? That's why it's so exciting. Because they are doing that. Yeah, as Tony said, Mo better. I owe Tony a call, actually. That guy's, he keeps me fired up as well. All right, so let's keep it moving. Janelle and I are big fans of Travis's. I'm mostly a fan of his mustache, but also the words that come out of his mouth. I don't think I've been on a session where Travis didn't bring the heat. How about you, Janelle?
Always. And he's been popular on social media this week with his live phone calls from stage.
Oh, man.
Are we going to do live phone calls?
Not doing that here. Ryan told me to. Ryan was like, you should do it again. Preston always wants me to also. So I'm just like, oh, man. It's always funny to me because I don't understand, though. I'm like, shouldn't everybody just be doing this all the time? Make the damn calls. You know what I mean?
Do the damn call.
Yeah, do the damn thing.
So Travis, we asked you to talk about building an ISA team. I think it's a big enigma. It's confusing. People get frustrated all the time. Can you, just take it over and kind of give us some insight on how to build those ISA teams?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you asking. I mean, I'm super excited to be here. It's a huge opportunity just to talk about, my topic is scaling with confidence. You got to be confident if you're going to do it the right way. I've seen so many people do it the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
Barry, you've had an ISA team, right? Like, and it's something that you've had. I think a lot of people in here has. Everybody in chat, does anybody in chat not have one, thinking about making one? Is this going to be the make or break for anybody in here if I tell them not to or do it or what? So
yeah, in the chat, if you guys do not have an ISA, actually, if you have an tell us, do you have one or do have one? We've got one that says I don't have one yet. I don't. Couple of maybe soons.
Oh man, about the launch. This might hurt a lot of people's feelings, and this honestly might be the world's longest rant. So cut me off if I start going way too deep.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
Good. He quit on Monday. Sorry, Charles. This is what we're going to talk about because that happens far too often. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I got to make a deck. This is my first deck
I'm excited.
ever made, so it's going to be exciting. So can everybody see this?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So this was my topic, scaling with confidence, mental game of building a Rockstar ISA team. But here's the interesting thing, and as we go on, I don't know if this was the right topic for me, but we'll keep it going though and show you. So my name, obviously Travis Halverson. I've been an ISA lead. I think I said it on stage at my first FubCon. I actually just created the LLC, but just an ISA LLC is literally my company's name. So but obviously working with Digital Maverick for a long time now, it's been great and exciting. I get to see everybody's databases, work with 80 teams across the country, big teams, small teams, just teams that only care about conversion. It's my passion, right? As 7 years of an ISA, like 600 closings, it's just interesting to see how far the game has changed, especially with the implementation of AI and stuff that Ryan, Gabe, Barry, all of us were working on, you know what I mean? Especially from like the standpoint of like the AI systems for calling and texting. Just wait until we get Raya sending emails, right? Is that a thing that's going to happen, right? You guys have talked about it. No, I'm just trying to like, Travis, stop. Don't plug that. What are you doing? All right. So why do ISAs matter? This is something that I want everybody to understand and think about. Why do ISAs matter? In reality, they shouldn't. ISAs shouldn't matter. That's the funny part. And I say this a lot, but if your agents did what they were supposed to do every single day and what you wish they would do, which is produce and have high productivity and make their calls, do their texts and their emails, an ISA shouldn't exist. I actually shouldn't even be a position, right? In my honest opinion, we don't matter as much as we really should. The reasons why we do matter though, is because your guys' databases have grown so large over the years. You guys have gathered all of this data. You've gathered so many names, numbers, and emails. It's actually impossible for an agent to follow up with all of the leads, right? That's why I came into my role as, hey, Travis, we have these 8,000 leads. We have 5 agents. They can't call all of these. Do you think you could, right? That's why I was like, absolutely, I would love to. It's awesome. It was addicting. I had so much fun doing it. We started to realize, though, that as time went on, is this ISA position important? I realized how much money I was making for the team. The team realized how much money I was making for them. A good ISA can 10x what they're worth, 20x depending on how good they are. It's insane. The problem is though, is finding that person, right? So what makes a great ISA, right? Hard work ethic, right? The daily grind. It is a daily grind. Preston told me the other day, it's literally Groundhog's Day for what I do, right? It's rinse, repeat over and over and over again, right? Master the mundane, Antoine told me, right? You want to master that. If you're so boring, you can become so rich at being boring. Right. And that was my mindset. I was able to just do the same thing over and over again. And I would just keep getting good results. And I would increase it by like 20, 30% every year. And I was like, how is this real? I didn't think this was real. I feel like real estate is that one thing that you can be so consistent at. If you just come in and call 50 people every day and get better results as time goes on, right? Obviously, you'll have to increase your output and things you're doing. But what makes a great ISA is having a good mindset. You have to have a good mindset. It's so easy to get discouraged as an ISA because of, I don't know, setting appointments for agents that aren't going to go out and do the showings, right? I can't tell you how many times I've set an appointment for an agent and that agent's like, I slept through my alarm. And I'm like, what the hell? How did you sleep through your alarm and didn't go to the showing? Like it was just a late night. And I'm like, well, the person was only here for one day from California. So thank you. And they're like, well, we'll do it next time. I was like, guess what? Well, I'm paid off of your closings. That doesn't help me, man. So it's interesting, right? So things like that can really burn an ISA and get them really discouraged. Like for me personally, the second that your agents lose faith in your ISAs, or if your ISA loses faith in your agents, that can really just drastically reduce production, right? So someone with the good mindset that has an abundant mindset, someone that can look at the big picture, right? If I go into Barry's database, Barry, how many leads do you have in your database?
About 300,000.
Perfect. If I go into Barry's database and I look at all 300,000 leads, my mindset right there is every single one of these leads needs to have a next step. All 300,000. I don't care if it's a vendor. I don't care if it's a lender. I don't care if it's another agent that we're trying to recruit. All 300,000 of those leads are my responsibility, right? That is the type of ownership that I would take in a database because that's what matters to me, right? If I came into this as an ISA and I looked at it and it was just a job where I'm just there trying to get the salary, right? Most ISAs get paid a salary if they're an in-house ISA, right? But I never once cared about my salary. I think I made like $24,000 my base salary for the last 7 years of an ISA. I don't think it ever really went up, right? But it didn't matter to me because I was paid off of my closings. I always thought, hey, if I can close so many deals, why does my salary matter, right? It was a good comfort thing for me. It was literally just comforting knowing that, oh man, if the world ends, I still have $24,000, right? Like that's it, right? That's if all of my agents quit today, I'll still get my base salary if I just come in and make 30 phone calls today, right? What makes a great ISA? Mindset. Always and forever. That is what I will say. Now, we're going to talk about the difference, though, between an in-house ISA and an outsourced ISA. And I'm not going to say an outsourced VA, because to me, a VA is still an ISA if they're doing the same exact work. A lot of people say it all the time, oh, I have an outsourced VA. Are they making calls, sending texts? Well, yeah. I'm like, well, that's an ISA. Like, I don't know. There's no way you're going to try and convince me different, right? But the thing about it is, there is a good and bad for both, right? We're going to go over this. Right? The good of an in-house ISA. And this is someone that's sitting down next to you. So like Barry hiring me to sit down next to him in his office. The good. I can build relationships, right? Not just with the clients in his database, but like the agents in the office, the admin, the staff, the TCs, everybody. I can build relationships, right? That's what you're hiring that person to do. You can physically see me. I'm part of your daily culture. It's easier to train and monitor. Oh shit, Travis didn't show up today. Oh, well, is he getting his calls done? Hopefully. I can go into FUB and look. How do you know? Right? We had an ISA, crushed it. Ryan, you remember Hunter? Yeah, Hunter, great kid. Loved him. He was in the office, crushed it every day. Second, he went work from home, crushed it even more. However, the CEO didn't see him every day. Therefore, he didn't feel as if he was doing the work. Even though the results showed it, we wanted the big in-house culture where it's very much, I can see you every day, I can interact with you. He just didn't think that it was just all a facade. It was just all the numbers, like didn't show him in the world. He liked the energy of having him in the office, right? We had to let that guy go because he wasn't in office anymore, which to me now, looking now back at it, he's crushing it where we got him another job at. He's killing it. He's doing a great job. He would be a massive resource for that team if we wouldn't let him go, right? So in-house, for me, easier to train and monitor. That can be a good thing. Right? Problem, I mean, the good is going to be higher initial cost. I don't know why that's not over in the bad, but higher initial cost, right? The problem is upfront, like I said, salary, 24,000 base salary. If you were going to give this to an outside ISA, right? An outsourced ISA, you're not going to pay one of them $24,000 as a base salary. It's just not going to happen. I think you would actually collapse their economy. It would be really bad for everybody, right? So, and they understand that. That's just a lot, right? More control over the process, which is true. You can control right then and there. Hey, Travis, I just heard that phone call. That was really bad. You should probably rethink how you say that, right? Barry could give me instant feedback. He could literally tell me, hey, that sounds like this would be a great opportunity. Give it to agent A instead of agent B, right? He can give me that information quickly as opposed to me just looking at a sheet, trying my best to work on it and just try and do it that way. Right? In-house ISA is more for just you having control over it, seeing the person, the daily culture. The bad. I love America. A lot of us can be easily drained here, though. Right? There's a lot of stuff going on in our world that can easily drain us. right? Where mental health days exist now, right? There's things where like, oh man, I just want to work from home because I'm not feeling like being in the office, right? It's tough, okay? Sympathetic ear. This is something that I didn't understand until I was called a sympathetic ear by my first ISA, by my first team that I worked for. We would have agents that would come in and bitch to me about how things are, bitch about splits. They'd complain about everything, right? But I would be sitting there just obviously making my dials because I'm paid to sit in a seat, right? They'd come in and just talk to me all the time. We had to actually put a sign on my door and lock it because they just kept trying to come in and talk to me. It would pull me out of my session, right? All the time it would pull me out of the session. It was difficult because I always use the concept of like taking off and landing a plane, right? When you're starting your day, you're taking off in the plane. Once you're up here and you're making your dials and you're sending your texts, you're working, prospecting. The second that an agent came in, I'd have to land my plane and then talk to him. The hardest part about it is trying to take off again. It's really difficult. The second you get pulled out of a session, it's tough to start over, right? So being that sympathetic ear or having access to an ISA from a team, like an agent standpoint, it's great. It builds the daily culture. It's a relationship builder. But at the same time, it can turn into a sympathetic ear where that person just gets told all the bad stuff happening, which can really, once again, at the top, easily drain someone, right? So in-house can be very bad sometimes, right? It has a high turnover. Barry, have you ever had, what's your longest ISA you've had?
The one I have right now, 5 years.
Nice. I love that. How rare is that though?
Super unusual. And I've gone through, I mean, I've had as many as 9, and I've probably gone through 30. So yeah, very unusual.
Yeah, very unusual. It's true because like I said, it's rare to find an ISA that will stay forever, right? People used to call me all the time, Travis, you're a damn unicorn. How have you been an ISA for so long? It's like, I was actually passionate about it. I loved it. It was my favorite thing. People would be like, aren't you going to become an agent? I'm like, absolutely not. I have no desire to do that, right? I've never actually sold a home before. Never even walked through a home and done a showing before, right? I've always just set appointments for agents. That was my passion. That was what I like to do. So it's very rare. If an ISA gets burned and it's a good one, that actually can be really bad for your team, right? Because you have so much in them that you want them to be just a massive resource forever. Sometimes you feel guilty trying to convince them to not leave that position. If they have goals to become an agent, I've seen CEOs talk that ISA out of becoming an agent because they're like, well, shit, who's going to set these appointments for these agents? Back to square one, which brings us to what they usually go to after an in-house ISA, which is an outsourced ISA, right? This is where they go contact different companies to see like, maybe this will fill the gap. Okay. The good, lower starting costs, right? It's very cheap to get an outsourced ISA. Less management needed. So you think you will literally believe that you will have less management over this person when you have it outsourced from another company. Easily able to hire a replacement. If you didn't like the first one, they have someone on standby for you, right? A lot of the times you'll see that, you'll come across that. They have stronger work ethic sometimes, right? I fully believe this actually. I've seen really good outsourced ISAs just do way more dials than in-house ISAs, right? Because they're not distracted. They're supposed to sit there for 8 hours a day and work their 8 hours, right? That's exactly what they're supposed to do. The bad, less control over the process. You believe that the process that's been instilled in that outsourced ISA is a good process. You're hoping it's a good process. Might not be, right? Could be bad habits depending on who the person is, right? I fully believe me in charge of an ISA, I'm making them do 300 plus dials a day, 400 plus dials a day, right? Because I know the results that you're going to need and know the amount of appointments you'll need in order to get those good results, right? Harder to build a team culture. Yeah, the only way you can interact with them sometimes is through notes in FUB, right? Really difficult. If I'm only just tagging that person in a note to have a conversation with them, great. You can sometimes get them on the phone or get them on a call. Sometimes they have power outages. Sometimes you don't know where they're at. They can disappear for hours at a time. You have no idea. It happens, right? That's what talks about less management needed. So you think, right? If you're not actually inspecting what you expect, it's very difficult to see what they're doing. I challenge everyone in here. If you have an outsourced ISA or an in-house ISA, go to admin, go to calls, go to call logs, right? And look, if this person's supposed to dial for 8 hours a day, how can they possibly only be calling 100 people, right? The other thing is potentially handing multiple clients without your knowledge. I've seen this all the time. Oh man, they were double dipping. Oh, I went back and looked, they were double dipping. They were talking, they had multiple clients. That's why they only made 100 dials because they did 100 dials in your database, then 100 dials in someone else's database, right? It happens. It's a numbers game, right? And that's what I'm talking about. Real results, 108 dials, 5 connects, 2 appointments in 60 minutes. I recorded myself on a conversion night we did with Easy Home Search. I literally sat there for 60 minutes straight and I matched. I just did single line dialer through Follow Up Boss, 108 dials, 5 connections, 2 appointments in 60 minutes, right? If your ISA is doing 100 dials in an 8-hour period, how on earth can someone do 108 dials in 60 minutes if they have 8 hours, times it by 8, or at least times it by 4 or 2, like anything, right? But I've seen ISAs only do 100 dials in a day. And then they try to explain that to me. And it just doesn't make sense. My first year as an ISA, I had 20 closings. Full 12-month period, 20 closings. My second year as an ISA, I had close to 100, about 101, I think, because I was able to do the follow-up. Your first year as an ISA is going to be really difficult, right? You're trying to set yourself up for future. You're trying to make sure that you guys know what you're doing. You're trying to set it up. You're trying to build your pipeline. You're an ISA, but you have the same length as an agent. You have to set it on a 90-day period. You have to have the patience as a CEO to look at your ISA and be like, is it working out or is it not? Right? Or is it the fact that, wow, I've only had them for 3 months and they don't have 7 closings? This is disgusting. Get rid of them. Right? That would be absurd. I've just seen it happen so many times. You have to track what your ISAs are doing and you have to be open to saying, am I going to give this 12 months or am I going to give this 90 days? Right? You have to. And this is where I get off my, I guess.
No, I think a lot of people, there was an aha moment. 100 dials, 108 dials in 60 minutes, 5 conversations, 2 appointments. I think a lot of people were like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm seeing some hand claps right now. They're like, yeah, that was a knowledge bomb for us, because people, you see it in your group all the time. People are like, how many, what's a good way to grade my ISAs, and that's just a really easy summary, don't you think?
Absolutely. And I love how you've given steps to see where you can track all of this easily through the CRM. That's really important for team leaders to understand where to go to see all this quickly.
Find a gamer.
Yeah, and when we do have some questions in the chat, I'm going to have the team message you, Travis, to answer those questions. All right, so next, honestly, out of all of the stuff that G is talking about in these little sessions, these 5-minute sessions are really cool. This one, for me personally, is like the one that my team has been the most excited about. So I was hoping that I was going to be able to go over it, but he jumped on. So go ahead, G.
Hey guys, how's it going? At a preschool pancake party. When you have one of those, you can't miss it, right? That's what they say. Are we on Address Finder, Barry?
Yes, the one that I'm most excited about.
All right, awesome. So, we have on the Ylopo side, as you guys know, been trying to figure out how to generate seller leads from buyer leads for a very long time, right? In fact, I think right now, 1 out of every 3 buyer leads we generate from PPC or Facebook are coming in saying they need a home to sell, right? And we have gone down and said, okay, well, that 60% of people who say they only need to buy, well, chances are they're still a homeowner. So how do I identify them? And so we are releasing a new feature that we've been testing now. It's been in the works, honestly, I think for about 9 months now. It's a crazy amount of time to test and vet vendors and figure out which is the best data source. But we have a new feature called Address Finder. When a new lead comes in from Ylopo, it could be a Ylopo lead, it could be a Zillow lead, it could be a Realtor.com lead, whatever source comes into your CRM that we auto import, we will automatically reverse look up that homeowner's or that lead's homeowner status and get their address, right? And for those who are sellers, who are homeowners, we immediately start sending them a seller alert for their property. And we add that address into your follow-up boss so that you can set up all of your follow-up boss automations, right? So when a lead comes in, we are seeing a 30 to 60% match of a buyer who does not have a home address, right? So if you have a home address, we're not matching it. It's already in there. But if they don't have a home address, we're going to reverse append that, and we're going to drop into follow-up boss in their home address field, your address finder email, property, right? And that property is also obviously going to be in Ylopo stars as well. And as soon as that lead gets in there and we have their home address, we start sending them our seller evaluation experience, right? So bottom line is you're getting an 25% open rate on those seller leads that we find from addresses. And you're basically turning another 25% of your buyer leads into sellers without you having to do anything, right? Consumer comes in, we match them based on their home address, their email address and phone number to a home address, and now you get 25% more sellers as a result of that, right? And this is a feature we are going to release free of charge for all.
Wait, how much?
Free.
Oh, okay.
We're doing it for everyone, right? So if a new lead comes into Ylopo, it as long as it is getting auto imported, right? So you have to configure it so that Zillow or Realtor or whatever comes into our system, so we see it. As long as they come in, going forward, we are going to find their address for free, right? This is a service that, you know, you can research all the vendors out there. This is several $100s of product that we just decided we think it has a baseline value to all of our clients. We're just going to do it for all of you, right? If you want us to go back and do this for your entire lead database, obviously there's some fees associated with that. We're basically charging you what we get charged, which as you can imagine is a massive discount. And so we will kind of pen that for your entire database as well. So if you want to sign up for the beta of this, click here or scan this code, sign up for it. We will be releasing it for everyone, I would say probably by Summit. So that's end of April in that time frame. We're just going to go ahead and release it for everyone. But if you want to get on it right now, go ahead and sign up for this beta. Any commentary on this, Barry?
Yeah, lots of excitement, lots of questions. Some of the questions are regarding, a lot of people want their old leads to have this done. So when they fill out this beta, is there a spot where they'll be able to say whether or not they can, how do they kick off their old leads, basically?
Yeah, good question. I don't know if we have that field, and this is why we need Barry to review all of our forms. If you sign up for this, and we'll shoot you all an email with an option to get your database onboarded. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Canada, I know Canada keeps things really private, so is this working?
No, unfortunately not. Yeah, Canada has very different data privacy laws, unfortunately. God.
Yeah.
Canadians with their privacy. So
no, it's great. I mean,
only working in the US right now. Yes, we will diligently try, but have not figured that out.
We found a ton of old buyer leads that we now have their home address. And the other question was, does it know if it's a renter or a homeowner? And to that, my experience is usually. Occasionally the address, and we're working with the team, but so normally it's the home that they own. If they're a renter, normally it's not supposed to flow through, right, G?
Yeah, so if it's a renter right now, we are not flowing it through. This is feedback that we'd like to get from you as we grow, because we get an 85% match rate on the emails and phone numbers we send out to a property. They just are not always homeowners, right? If you got, we don't want to pollute the field with the home field with a address that's not a renter or that's not a homeowner. But if you guys value that, we could certainly pass that through as a note. So you guys give us feedback as we roll this out.
Yeah, and a couple of questions about where we're finding the information. That's kind of like the secret sauce of the vendor we're using, right?
That's right. Yeah, we're using a variety of vendors. We're basically picking the best match, but that is all on our side.
All right, sweet. So scan that QR code. Go ahead, Gabe.
Real quick, another note on there about if they still own it or not, or they sold it. Guys, whether they own it still or they don't, or if they are a renter, it's always a conversation starter. It's always a question to be asking about the address and what's going on. So it's always a pathway into having that conversation and starting building that rapport.
Awesome. All right. So thanks for that, Gabe and G. Always exciting to hear all the fun stuff the team's working on. So we're officially running behind. Suneet is next, but before we have Suneet speak, I do want to do another poll. And this poll is just asking you guys, where are you getting your business from? Online leads, referrals, cold calling, or social media? We're not going to let this poll run long just because we've got to be sensitive to time. But yeah, the address finder, man, so freaking cool. My agents love that one. Everybody's excited about it. All right.
Doesn't let me vote.
I know.
Hosts and panelists cannot vote. You're just too important.
I keep trying to click and then I realize at the bottom right, I'm like, I'm an idiot. I'm just gonna exit out of that.
All right. So thank you, Aaron. We love you too, buddy. All right, if you can close the poll. We're going to be doing a contest, but 69% of you are primarily using online leads. 59% of you also added referrals, 13% cold calling, and 17% said social media. So really interesting. Look, the GrowthCon concept, the reason why this kind of idea came to me was because we've been planning this summit. It's April, and I'm going to pull up a screen that goes over it now, but it's coming up. It's in Charleston, South Carolina. Gabe and I have to obsessively meet with each speaker, and we are obsessed with the concept of practical take it off the shelf use cases, right? That's what this in-person event, this is for Ylopo customers, April 23rd and 24th in a really cool city, in a really fun venue. But as we were doing that, I kind of realized that mindset has been a really important part of my journey. And I wanted to pull together people like Suneet, who's about to speak, to help us to change our mindset. And so GrowthCon was invented, right? That's basically what happened, was we wanted to take some time and focus on mindset. If you would like to go impractical, like if you want to work on your online lead generation, if you want to work on your lead conversion, many of you admitted you're struggling with lead nurture. We're picking people that are not big shots on stage, people that, you haven't heard from, but over the last 12 months, are closing 15, 20, 30, 50 individual leads from online marketing. We're going to interview them, right? And so this is a subtle shift with events. Normally these types of events, it's like this: people that are well-known, that are on stage speaking and teaching, and you want to hear from them. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be interviewing people that are actively crushing it with these leads. And so you're going to get practical insights because Gabe and I are in control of the content. Isn't that right, Gabe?
Yeah, I mean, and when he says we are obsessing with it, it's been like this fine line of like not trying to be a control freak over like what the people are talking about, but meeting with them and literally stopping and asking, okay, wait, back up. You need to highlight that because that is where somebody's going to write something down. That's where somebody's going to underline this or highlight it. So we're really wanting it to, I love stories. We love inspiration. We love all of that, but we also want to make sure anybody coming to this is just leaving with a freaking book like this, book full of notes and takeaways that make sense based on the tech that you're using, because we all have the same tech stack there. And we just want to make sure you have all those takeaways. Your agents have all those takeaways. Your admin, your staff have all those takeaways to implement right away.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So scan this QR code. There's going to be 3 prizes. First prize is a free ticket. Second prize will be 50% off. Third prize will be 25% off. So if you scan this QR code, and we're going to put a link in the chat, hopefully, to this page, and win yourself a seat of 2 days of practicality, fun, and networking. All right. Next, I'm super excited. Janelle, you know what a fan of Suneet's I am and longtime buddy, and you get to hang out with him sometimes too at some of these events, right?
He's the best. I'm so excited to see you. Hey, Suneet.
What's up, everybody?
I like to call him Suneet the Treat. You guys are in
Oh,
for a
why would
treat
you
because
do
it's
that
Suneet.
on front of all these people?
That is a great nickname. What is that?
Suneet the Treat.
That is good.
I've been calling him that for a long time.
That's amazing.
Long time.
There's lots of stories.
So Suneet,
I just started sweating. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes.
I would expect nothing less from a good friend. Suneet is a broker owner, team leader, Cheplak coach. Can I say author or maybe? Okay, maybe one day an author. Lots of exciting things that you guys are going to hear from someone that is just with the highest business acumen, master networker, and my personal friend. Suneet, talk to us about building a team, buddy. I'm really excited about this.
All right, me too. Thank you guys for the opportunity. I'm going to get my deck up here. All right, you guys see my deck okay?
Yes.
Yes? Everyone out there in comment land, you guys see my deck okay?
Let them know.
Let me know.
That's a really
All right.
nice deck.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Keep it straight up. So, huge thanks to Barry, Howard, G, even though Barry did spill the beans on his nickname, which I have a big bone to pick with you now. But you guys, you're in for a real treat. The lineup of speakers today are so many people that have impacted my own business over the years. So just make sure you stay tuned for everybody. Now, I don't know about you. Well, maybe I do, but something tells me that a lot of us on here love scrolling on social media. Is that right? You guys love to scroll through the videos on TikTok and Instagram. Well, me too. So now when I think, that's kind of how I think, in real short little snippets. So it was my intention to be able to give you guys a checklist of things and tools of things to do in my time today. So imagine it like you're scrolling through the Suneet TikTok and you're seeing a video with a topic, a video with a topic. So make sure that you grab your pen. I'm going to walk you through my personal list of non-negotiable items that you need to scale your real estate team. So whether you're brand new or been in the game for a while, like Barry, my hope is that you've heard and maybe even implemented most of these things. But if not, let's make today the push that you need, all right? So first of all of you in the team space have been lied to. Getting out of production is not a damn merit badge. For so long, and Barry and Gabe are laughing because for so long, everyone's all, well, I'm out of production. I'm out of production. Well, how's that going for you right now, bro? Right? I talk to a lot of teams. It's not a merit badge. The time you get out of production is when the team pays you when you need it to, not when it sounds cool. If you're considering getting out of production, let's do it reasonably, not just pull the plug. Let me tell you, I'm speaking from experience, okay? First, give up taking every single buyer that comes in. Second, give up all buyers. Third, give up low price listings. And fourth, give up all listings. I encourage you to hold on to this. Take the good listings for as long as you can. Right, Barry? I mean, don't you see this? That people just say, oh, well, I'm out of production. Oh, now I can't pay my bill.
Yeah. No, you don't want to, the margins cut real fast when you make that decision. So you got to be thoughtful about it.
I mean, you guys, you have a responsibility to provide for your family and provide for yourself, which is more important than providing for the team. So make sure you have a way to get paid. Okay, you need money to eat, right?
That's right.
Never stop the simple stuff. Number one, answer your damn phone. If it rings, answer it. Number two, if somebody calls you, get back to them. It's business. Number three, this is so important. Be consistent with your team and consumers. Don't have different messages. Don't be all over the place. And next, if you say you're going to do something, especially to your agents, especially to the people that you're working with, especially to yourself, to your family, friggin' do the damn thing. Okay? Show the example to your agents and everybody around you that you have principles and that you are a consistent person. Because if you want consistent activity out of someone, but you're flip-flapping, is that even a word? I'm really trying not to cuss, Barry. So
you already failed.
I'm doing a great job, I know. Instead of going back and forth, say something, you do it. Get out of your imaginary white tower. Right? We are all here. We all got work to do. You're not as successful as you want to be. There is room for growth. Get out of your white tower.
Well, and I think, I know this isn't an interview, but just to interject, I think what you're impacting right now is the people that it's almost like ego, right? Like that's kind of what's happening.
I wouldn't know anything about ego, Barry.
Oh man, there's so much I can say right now.
That wasn't a joke.
But I'm just saying,
it's totally ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave your ego at the door, guys. Okay. Leverage international talent. Okay. There's there's little small projects that all of us want to do. Maybe I'm a little bit more neurotic about it. But then the old Suneet would go down the rabbit hole and figure out how to do it myself, right? And spend all these hours. Then one day I was like, dude, I can go to Upwork or Fiverr and pay someone $4 an hour to do this. So I've spent hours trying to figure out, I don't know, how to edit a short form video or how to, you know, build out something on a calendar, whatever it is. You could, you know, a short form video can cost $10 to get edited. Why are you spending a second doing that? Okay, when you're in Upwork or Fiverr, read the reviews. And I know many of you guys know this, and the guys at Ylopo were instrumental in me learning this, is VAs, right? Like I have Filipino VAs, I have people in New Zealand, Pakistan, right? And I also have the employees here. What I see people do too often is say, well, man, I had one bad VA, they all suck. Have you guys ever heard that? Like, I'm never hiring in the Philippines again. How many American people have worked for you that you have thought have sucked, and you keep on hiring them, right? Any country can work. South America, dude, South America has great talent. I know I talk about that with a lot of you guys. Canada, in Canada, you're not paying payroll tax, right? You're not paying workman's comp. They could be in the same time zone, and the dollar is stronger over there. You can go a lot further. So hire international talent. Before you hire somebody stateside, look at international talent, because if once you grow, your biggest expense is going to be payroll. And you start hiring all these people, you start wondering what they're doing, and now it's, you know, 70, 80, 100 grand a month, grows real fast. The funny thing with ISAs is, so I've had a really large ISA team and successful ISA team for a long time. When it was initially built, it was all people here in Sacramento, and they did fine. I started hiring in the Philippines, and sure, it was a little bit more of a lift, but guess what? They are smoking the people here in Sacramento. I have one woman in the so I have, I think, 5 or 6 overseas and one here in Sacramento. I have this one woman, guys. She lives in the Philippines. She's a mom of 3, so she's already working in the middle of the night while trying to be a mom. She closes like 30 deals a year, bro. Right? So about 2 years ago, she got breast cancer. The only day she took off were the days she got chemo. Her production never changed. Can you say that about anybody you've ever hired here? No. Even close? No, I don't think so. Right? Create SOPs and manuals for everything in your business. With AI now, it's even way easier. If you do something twice, create an SOP. Create an SOP for your leads, guys. You guys want mine? Hit this QR code. It's exactly how we work the leads, exactly our follow-up cadence, exactly what the ISAs do, all free. Get it in there and use it as a template in creating your SOPs. Here's the thing about leaders, and I know because I've been one and coached many of them. We get an idea, and we say it at the team meeting, and we say it once, and we expect the stuff to magically happen. Sound familiar? Let me tell you, you're probably going to forget because you're going to get another type of idea, going to have another kind of fire, something else is going to take priority. Have a reference manual. When I'm auditing Follow-Up Boss, which I'm obsessive to do, and every time there is an issue where I have to nudge an agent, I drop the link to the document right inside of Follow-Up Boss. Hey, check this out. You're messing up, bro. Task management and project management software is incredible, right? Barry, that takes me back to our story about using Trello back in the day. But like, there's so many free versions to do this, and this is how I do it. Instead of sending emails internally all the time, I create tasks and projects in task management. That way, everything is segmented with priority, and I can get back to and see who's working on what and what their completion is. It also allows you to create dashboards. Look, I love Maverick. I've used Maverick forever. However, I want more dashboards than what are in there. Recruiting, onboarding, offboarding, listings, right? It's a collaborative place to share work with the stakeholders in my companies. And when I'm laying in bed and I got all those ideas for the next day, I'm just going to put them inside of my task management and assign them to people, maybe my EA, my executive admin, to get them prioritized for the next day. And there's so many versions. I use Monday. I use Notion. I don't care if you use a Google Sheet. Just do something to get it out of your head and out of your email and onto a collaborative space where you can track better. Track your market share. You know, many markets have had less sales, if you didn't know, in the last couple years, but 1 million less. When you're tracking sales and there's an overall less amount of sales in your market, it's hard to see where the growth is, right? Because you're comparing yourself to maybe a better year. This is what I do, and it shows the growth within those constraints. Every house that sold in the MLS, every house that we sold in the MLS. Is that amount going up, or is that going down, or is it staying flat? Right? Are you exceeding the market? Are you staying with the market, or are you losing market share? So really look at this. Like, this is a big, big, important thing. Barry, do you guys look at this?
Yeah, it impacts everything.
Yeah, it impacts everything. Choose. Ooh, there's a curse word. Okay. Well, you guys, choose the right mentors. Sometimes we go to events and someone says something, oh, wow, that's unbelievable. Unfortunately, it might be really not true either. It might be an exaggeration. So be aware of the BS out there in any industry. Okay. You know, we've been so great. I've been so grateful to have been hanging around Ylopo since almost day one, and they've always been on the forefront of AI. But everybody on here, just understand the basics. Have the Chat GPT app on your phone or whatever app that you're using, right? Learn enough to be dangerous. And then once you know, leverage tech-enabled third world virtual assistants to bring it to life. Okay? Besides just making content, besides just writing your post on friggin' Facebook, right? Learn more on what it can do for your business. If you don't know what that is, how about you log in a good old Chat GPT and say, I have a real estate team. How can you help me? Okay, it's right, dude. Like, it's gonna tell you stuff. It's so great with the AI voice stuff and Maverick. It just blows my mind. But there's so many more things that I want you guys to learn about. Don't need to be the expert, but use the tech-enabled outsourcing. Okay, let's talk recruiting. Guess what works? Everything. So instead of me going into a 20-minute presentation about the whole process, there's my recruiting checklist. It's 27 different ways to recruit. It's my SOP. And I interviewed a bunch of coaching clients and everything that we've done. It's step by step. It'll tell you how to recruit. There's also a podcast that I did on the Reside Platform podcast, 2 parts where we break down every single thing in this checklist. So make sure to check that out if growing your team is important. And if you want to sell more houses, guess what? It is. At the end of the day, somebody better make those damn calls if you're looking to grow. It's either going to be you or it's going to be somebody else. I'm going to tell you right now, if you think you're going to hire a VA for $4 an hour who's going to be a phone beast to convert agents, you're tripping, right? Like, it's going to take some work, but somebody better make those calls. Here's the big hack to recruiting, folks. You ready? This is a writer downer. Here's the big hack to recruiting. There is no damn hack. Get to work. Hey. Like that buildup? Okay, good. Your picker in recruiting is broke. Look back, or maybe look forward. You've been wrong as many times as you've been right. Right? So be open-minded. You cannot make anybody productive or make anybody want success more. So stop friggin' trying. Right? I always make these Call of Duty jokes. I say, I'm going to get body cams and headsets and put them on all the agents so I can have my big screen and just watch everything that's happening and say, okay, now say this. Okay, you now say this. That's not feasible, right? So to get somebody good, they need massive practice reps. Dude, the AI voice coach thing, fire, right? What are you doing similar to practice the actual appointments? All right. And the best thing you can do is facilitate an environment where people actually can be successful. Know your numbers, right? I get this from Maverick. How many houses does an average agent on your team sell? How many leads on average do they need to get an escrow? How long before somebody gets to a lead in your database? Are leads being followed up with? Right? And remember the 80-20 rule. What can you improve in your team on a macro team level? And what can your team improve? What can your agents improve on a micro level? Okay, so spin those little dials. Let's go through business fundamentals for your team. Hopefully it's all redundant and you have all this. Step 1, have a corporation. Quit putting your checks in your personal account. Right? Get your business corporation for your team. If you have a partner, have an airtight operating agreement. Think of everything. Do not go to LegalZoom. Face it, stuff happens. What if somebody becomes a drug addict overnight? You think that's ever happened? What if somebody gets a new relationship and the new spouse says so-and-so is not working, you should break up, right? Like, people's lives change. Have an airtight operating agreement. Have a business bank account. When I first started in real estate, I couldn't have a bank account. I had to go cash my commission checks at friggin' Walmart. It's brutal, right? We won't talk about why I didn't have a bank account. But get one, have it through your corp, be a responsible business owner. Put yourself on payroll. Credit card points are amazing. Use them for everything. Use them for a Ylopo and, pay for a free hotel in Las Vegas, right? Have your financial books dialed by a pro. Get your cost of goods sold. Get your P&L. Get your balance sheet. Get your cash flow statement. Do not go by feel on this, folks. Basic marketing tips. Email newsletters work. We send 3 a week to our consumer database and a minimum of 1 to 2 to the agent database. You want to get on both my lists? There they are. Those 3 consumer newsletters, they crush. Written by somebody overseas with a lot of AI help. Okay? We've experimented with it. You can use MailChimp. You can use Follow Up Boss. We just switched to Beehive. Check these out and just copy me, okay? Oh, I don't have enough leads. Agents say they don't have enough leads. So post to social media every day. Go follow me and just copy my stuff. Run it through ChatGPT and just rewrite it, okay? Right? So we post a lot on a lot of different channels. That's just an example. Team, a mortgage company, Reside. I have 2 Suneet profiles. When you're posting to social media, talk to a former version of yourself. Scale what works based on data, not emotion. I had an agent who said, I want to get billboards. I want to do mail. I want to get this lead source. I want to get this lead source. When all of her business came from posting on Instagram. I was like, how about before you start spending money on stuff and hoping, you just post to Instagram more? Guess what happened? It worked. Right? Scale what works. Base it on data, not emotion. But if you're getting a 3-to-1 ROI on Ylopo, scale that before you start to experiment with other stuff and have to work out that process. Here is the ultimate framework that you guys need to do for your team. Number 1, recruit like crazy. License and a pulse. Recruit like crazy. Bring them on. Get everybody into a scalable training. Did the recruit make it out? Great. They have potential. Did they not make it out? You have a decision to make. And that's based on your financial and time commitment that you have. Find out what they need to make, what will take them there, and how you can hold them accountable. Next, continue with accountability. Find out what they want. Find out why they want it. Use that as your lever instead of saying, well, you're not making enough calls, dude, right? Or you ain't sold anything this month. Why are they selling it? Why are they there? You have standards? Good, stick to your standards. Get feedback on the process and repeat, repeat, repeat. And finally, with 15 seconds to spare, remember this. Growth always takes time, money, or both. Which one do you have the most of? That's what you should be working on.
Amazing.
All right. So take the list, figure out what's going to have the biggest impact, figure how hard it is going to be to implement, get a score for both, prioritize based on highest scores, get to work on implementing and make some damn money.
Suneet, this was awesome. There were several people that missed QR codes throughout. If they want to reach you offline, can they do that via Instagram? Is that the easiest way?
Yes, Suneet _Agarwal
Okay.
916.
Maybe just put it in the chat before you leave. There were some questions that I'd love for you to chat, put in the chat. One was, I know the DISC personality test, or do you use that? Another had to do with your training. Another one was, where do you get all your fashion advice? You're always looking so good. So just if you could put all that in the chat.
Well, you know where I shop, so you can answer that.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Suneet. Seriously, this ton of value for the team. All right, we got to move.
Guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got to move to G next. I think this is the last cool product that he was going to share with us. G, are you there for us, buddy?
I am there, buddy.
All right. Yeah. So a little bit tight on time, but we definitely want to hear everything that you have to say about this last feature or product release.
Okay, cool. I'm going to keep it real fast. So we all want phone calls. We want live transfers more than anything else. And at Ylopo, we've been trying to figure out how to generate those going back to like 21. You know, we were doing it on Facebook and it didn't work, but we try our best, right? And we finally have a product that I'm really excited about. It's still in alpha beta right now. So obviously still a lot of testing. We've got, I think, a good 50 clients on this now. So we have a good tranche of data. And what's happening now is, a lot of you are familiar with Google Local Services ads, right? That's the ad that shows up at the top of Google when you type in realtor in Los Angeles, and you've got a lot of faces on that. And when someone clicks on one of those ads, they call you, and those are typically really, really strong leads, right? Problem is, not a lot of people are searching for just realtor-related terms on Google, and there's so much competition in those areas, right? What we have done is taken that same concept of Google Local Services ads where consumers call you when they're looking for a realtor, and we've taken it to Google Maps, right? So when you go on Google Maps today, try it out. Type in real estate agents near me, real estate agents Los Angeles. You're going to see a bunch of ads at the top of Google now instead of just links to businesses. And when you click on one of those ads, it goes to your Google My Business profile, right? So first off, you got to have a great GMB experience, Google My Business profile experience, which we will build for you, right? But the second is that the call to action on all these experiences is to call the agent, right? And so we are getting consumers who are looking for realtors on a Google Maps experience, clicking on your ad, seeing your brand, and then calling you, right? And when these consumers call you, we don't drive them just to your office phone number. We drive it to our Ylopo call center. We're going to handle all of those phone calls. We're going to scrub out all of the spam, and we're going to give you the relevant calls for your brokerage, right? And so instead of having to handle a bunch of volume, but even a greater sin, frankly, from a Google algorithm perspective, is not picking up your phone, right? Because if you don't pick up your phone, then Google says, oh, this person isn't going to provide a great experience for Google users. We're going to rank them lower on the experience, right? So we're going to pick up the phone 100% of the time. We're going to scrub out the spam, and we're going to give you the valid leads, right? And these are all leads that are coming through phone calls. What we are seeing is that the average cost per high quality transfer, and I'll show you what it means by when we say high quality, is $114, right? Now that sounds like a big number, but think about how much you pay for a Zillow lead that's hot transferred to you as a Premier Agent product, right? what we are seeing after 14 days is for the transfers that we are sending to you, you get a qualified buyer or seller 46% of the time. That's not based on random data. This is data from the client's CRMs that we're pulling in from their stages to say who are good leads and bad leads, right? 46% are qualified buyer or seller leads. And on top of that, 25%, so 1 out of 4 are looking to buy or sell in the next 6 months, right? So the punchline, 1 out of 4 leads we're generating for you from this product is going to be someone looking in under 6 months. So that's $450 per qualified lead under 6 months, right? That's pretty incredible numbers if you do the math. And so this is, a product that as it scales and it becomes, more, kind of formalized on our part, we are going to reach out to all of you guys about, because obviously everyone wants live transfer calls, but you can sign up early for this beta right now. My team's probably upset I'm doing this because we're already getting flooded with these. But nonetheless, if you're on this webinar, we're going to do it for you. Just sign up for this beta form right here. If you're not on the LSA GMB product, we obviously need to get you on that product. If you are, we can just get you live and set up to ready to go. But really excited about this product. Think it's going to be, a new beachhead for us in our lead generation, and excited for all you guys to try it.
Yeah, no, I put in the chat, we already got a listing off of this, and people were asking, so this is Google My Business, this is LSA. It's actually not either of those individually, right? It's a separate within that ecosystem.
A separate ad unit, and it shows up primarily on Google Maps, right? And it's for people who are searching for real estate agent related keywords on Google Maps, right? And the beauty of this product is that you're not competing with 100 agents for this traffic. You're typically only competing with 3, right? And it's a very new product, so there's very little competition on this product. And on top of that, Google ranks you higher for the people who pick up the phones, right? And because 100% of your calls are being answered by your call center and disposition, you're going to get a leg up from that, right? So I would be shocked if this didn't become a standard for agents in the next year or two, just like LSA became a standard for agents to be a part of. And, whether or not it's something that'll work for a year or two at a really high scale, and then every agent in the country will do it, or if it's going to be something that is like extremely powerful forever, that we don't know. But as with any of these Google products, it's always a gold rush in the beginning, right? So you should get on it now if you're not on it, because the data's looking great. I mean, wouldn't you like 1 out of 4 leads you talk to be looking to buy in under 6 months?
Yeah, well, LSA worked great for me, and then it got flooded. So I'm an early adopter of this for the same reason.
Awesome. All right. Okay, cool.
Thanks, G.
I will let you guys continue.
All right.
Thanks, G. All right. So next up, we have Gabe Cordova, who is the Realtor in Residence at Ylopo. And he'll be talking about accountability for growth and building a high performance culture. I know everyone knows Gabe. He's also the best dressed at any event you go to, best shoes. I don't know if
the ones that I'm not there on, though, is what you meant.
Yes. The Barbie one was still my favorite, hands down.
Yes.
All right, Gabe, take it away.
Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. Well, excited to be here. Janelle, Barry, kicking ass today. Love this. This is incredible. Excited to be part of this. So let's keep it going. I know you're behind a little bit. So I'm going to kick us off. And I had let's see. Can you guys see my screen all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. So I want to talk about growth and culture. This is GrowthCon. And I'm going to go a little bit different direction. I got a guest joining me here in a little bit as well. But we spent most of the day, and I think this is typical, talking about like top of funnel, right? The new leads, the excitement, everything coming in every day, the new opportunities and speed to lead and hitting them and all that. And it's sexy, it's fun. But I also want to spend a little bit of time talking about bottom of funnel as well. Where should we be inspecting what's going on, not just at the top, but at the bottom? All right. We can't just be spending all the money over and over and over and not having those commission checks coming out the bottom. All right. And I am curious in chat, and I don't know if anybody did this yet, been watching and listening, but I am curious, everybody that's attended, that's here, throw in chat real quick. I'm curious who our audience is. Are we team leads? Are we agents on the team? Are we an admin? Kind of want to understand who's here right now. I saw we're from all over the country, but throw in, you're a team lead, agent on a team. Who are you? What are you? Team lead, team lead, team lead, team lead, broker, owner. Whoa, here we go. Yes, yes, yes. ISA leads the, oh, we got everybody. Ops managers, admin. Hell yes. All right, here we go. Reason I'm asking, all right. Daniel and I'm going to bring on in just a second. I want to speak to all of you. All right. This is not just for team leads. This is not just for agents on the team or the team supporting. This is for everybody. All right. We really want to make sure that we are covering everything. We've got to stop bleeding opportunities when they're coming in at the top of the funnel. All right. We've touched a little bit on that, but we're going to give you some tangible takeaways on things to be looking for so that you're not doing that at the top. We also got to stop losing the deals at the bottom. All right. But again, true to what we're doing for Summit, want to give you some things to be looking for within your follow-up boss or your tech, your Maverick, whatever it is, to make sure that you're not losing these, because we're spending too much time and too much money getting the opportunities at the top to lose them at the bottom. All right. And then it's time to grow. And I'm going to ask one last question in chat before we move on. So keep your fingers over there on your, whether you're on your phone or computer. I mean, it is time to grow smarter, faster, and with more control. So I guess I want permission to be able to ask some tough questions. I'm gonna ask Daniel some tough questions to share with you guys. But are you here to grow, or are you here just to let this market maybe take you over? I want to know, because we've got the people here. We got people sharing like Suneet. So throw in chat. Here to grow or here to get left behind? Which one is it, right? We got to start from a point of honesty and understand where the opportunities are in our database that we're missing. Love it. Ready, set, grow. That was my favorite.
Oh, there we go.
Ready, set, grow. Guys, this is for everyone. We're going to break this down from the agent perspective and the team lead perspective to make sure everything on here when it comes to growing your business makes sense for all. So Daniel, are you here? You're here with us, right?
Yes, sir.
Love Daniel
Awesome.
Keeton. What's up, buddy?
Hello.
Give us
And Barry coordinated our shirts today.
All right, you're twins. I love it. Daniel, for those that don't, give us a little background. Who are you, your market and all that? And then I want to jump in because I put together a few questions for you that I want to answer on what you're doing that I've learned as I've watched you hosting some office hours and speaking at events.
Sure. Yeah. Excited to share. Honored to be here. Daniel Keeton, broker owner of an independent firm in Central Virginia. We have 2 offices, one in Richmond and one in Lynchburg, right at about 100 agents and about 25 staff members. We run a hybrid model where about half our agents are on leads, like a team-like model.
Love it. All right. So something that you've been doing, and we all learn from each other, right? There's just something I think everybody does. And I love this industry for that. We're a very giving group and always learning from each other and taking notes. And Barry said earlier, taking notes. I'm taking notes, writing things down. I've really enjoyed listening to some of the things that you're doing to grow and scale your team. I also really appreciate how you take into account the culture of your team, right? I mean, and behind the scenes, I get to see things you probably don't even bring up. Like you were hosting an office hours a couple days ago. It's like, hey, I want to make sure we're going this direction because of this, because of who is showing up. As we're listening to some of this, he and I are talking in the background. Hey, we need to make sure, are we talking to team leads? Are we talking to agents? Are we talking to both? So I love that you are leading from a spot of understanding how it affects your culture, and that if your agents aren't winning, you're not winning.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I want to keep that in mind. So I've got 2 questions for you for top of funnel and 2 for bottom of funnel. And one thing that you've been doing, and I'd love for you to speak to it, is you're using a set of like rules and alerts and nudging to kind of inspect what's going on in your database. And I hear hesitation from team leads and sometimes about nervousness about nudging or annoying or whatever it is their agents. So I'd love to hear kind of what are you doing? How are you using it? And then I'm going to want to break it down, the win for the team lead and the win for the agent and why you're doing this.
Sure. Yeah, I think the best way to illustrate this is I had a fear, like I think a lot of team leads have, is if you're pestering your agents too much or holding them accountable too tightly, then you're going to make everybody mad. And, you know, if they don't call somebody and you take a lead away, then you're going to just tick people off. I'm generally, if I have some flaws, I definitely have a lot of flaws, but some of the main ones would be like when people like me. And so that can be a problem when you're trying to hold people accountable. But ultimately the culture is negatively affected if we're all just happy, you know, singing Kumbaya, but we're not selling real estate. So you have to combine both of those things, like a good culture, people feel appreciated and loved and cared for, but also we're leading them to accomplish their goals and selling more real estate. And yeah, the nudging rules, rules and alerts tool in Maverick has been a key part of that. I guess that's a low funnel, or I'd say more so high funnel tool. And essentially what it is, if you want me to kind of go into it, is you basically have the ability with a few clicks of a button to notify your agents when rules have been broken. And there's dozens of rules you can
real
pick.
quick.
Yeah, I can share my screen.
But show,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of too, right? Of understanding what's in the database and how to quickly take action on these from the team lead's perspective. And then I want to talk about the agent.
Absolutely. So can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep. So there are these 5 subcategories of rules. You know, there's initial new lead activity rules. So things like have these leads gotten a phone call in the first 4 hours, 12 hours, you know, that kind of stuff. We have an ISA team, so this stuff is generally taken care of. When a lead comes in, they are on it, like white on rice, and they're on top of it. Where we really have to spend time and doing the actual nudges is these nurture rules. And the nurture rules are basically aligned with our follow-up boss smart list. So the agents can see if a lead is in this smart list, the rule has been broken. And they know that, hey, they may get a nudge, which is a text message to their phone that tells them, hey, this lead is in this stage and has not had communication in 14 days. So therefore, you need to follow up with it. And, you know, agents generally love it, right? They generally like the reminder because, you know, we're getting so many different, you know, notifications coming from different places, but everybody checks their text message. You know, we're all generally looking at our text messages. And so you get that, you click on a link, it takes it to your email. And then in your email, it shows you the list of people. You go right to follow up boss and say, let me just address these. And so it's helped us. And, you know, I'll tell a quick story. The first time we did this mass nudging and mass reassignment, I was so scared because I felt like if I reassign these leads that are not being addressed, you know, agents are going to bust my door down and everybody's going to leave and they're going to be mad. So there were 800 leads that were broken on this rule. I'm sitting with my sales manager. We're sweating. We're like, should we do it? Should we click the button? We push the red button, and 800 leads were reassigned. And of about 40 agents, I had one agent come to me and say, I think I'm missing somebody, and I can't remember his name. 800 leads that were reassigned. So that set a new culture in our organization, and the agents now know that if these leads aren't addressed after a nudging, then they do get reassigned into a pond that they can go back and pull out themselves, but it's no longer exclusive. Saves tons of time with my sales manager, tons of time individually asking what's going on.
Yeah, so what I love about what you said, and I want to go to another section here, top of funnel. So again, this is top of funnel, getting in front of, nurturing, trying to get to that appointment. And what you're doing is you're coming in, finding opportunities that might be getting missed and putting them back into a pawn situation. But this is directly aligned and edited to match your smart lists and follow-up costs. So now you're really only nudging, and we didn't call it slap, right? It's not a mass slap. It's not a mass whatever. It's a nudge, right? Like, hey, I don't want you to miss this. And it's really the benefit to the agent here. This is not a micromanaging or anything. This is really kind of help momentum going. Hey, we're going to move it from here, putting it back into a pond where we've got more eyes on it to keep that momentum going. We got to keep them moving through the funnel. So I love that idea of how it aligns with the smart list and follow a boss, but then goes back into a pond where there's more eyes. Again, it's not a taking it away and now it's gone forever. It's just keeping it in a constant state
in motion.
And so your whole team is benefiting from this type of monitoring.
Correct. Yeah, the agents can, in our organization, they can go back into the pond and grab that lead out of it. So we're not like taking it away forever. We just, you know, it's not healthy to have a lead exclusive with one person that's not going to be called or texted. And a lot of times the agents will see this as a gift. You know, a lot of people you get so many things on your plate. And when you have so many things on your plate, you can't focus on all of them. So you know, sometimes we tell them just let the lead go. Just let them go. If you don't want to reach out for whatever reason, you've tried 17 times or they cursed at you and you don't want to call them again, just let it go and let the Maverick system just take it away. Sometimes they're taken away unintentionally. Maybe the agent's calling or texting outside of follow boss, which then they'll fall in the pond and then we'll get a call, say, I'm missing this lead. I'll sign it back to you. That's great. Just make sure you're calling them so the system doesn't take it away. The system can become the bad guy, so to speak, because I like to be the good guy. So we're back here kind of like managing the system.
I think this goes to, and I want to move to the next one. What I love about this too is we've already heard multiple times about the consistency and staying in front of them and doing all that. And this process is helping the agents keep that consistency going. It might be a couple different ones by moving it around, but you're keeping that consistency. So we're moving it around. Some of this, a lot of this, as we can see, is based on the calling, the texting, and communication. All right, I want to pivot to communication top of funnel. You're using, and we've heard this as well, AI role playing and the call grading. I love that Follow Boss has summaries in there, makes it a quick, but it's not in there critiquing what we're saying. And as a team lead for a long time, I love role playing and all that, but it's subjective, right? It's my opinion and it's not as consistent. So I'd love you just in a couple minutes show a little bit of this, of what you're doing for the role playing and the grading, to see not only teaching them what to say, but inspecting what they're saying.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, really the quality of your conversations is what can move the needle in your organization as much as anything. And this has totally changed our organization when we started implementing this. So these are 12 AI script practicing scenarios. Between those, you can get over 30 different personalities. And within those, you can get over 300 potential objections. Okay, so what do we need as a professional in a performance industry? You just need reps. You need practice. I mean, you know, you hear about all the Steph Curry's takes 1,000 shots a day and he takes 40 shots in a game. But these are like the practice shots in a basketball game. So you call the AI. All of our agents now, if they come on the lead program, they have to call these and get a score of 8 or better before they go into our actual live pond and start calling people. So it's fun. I'll every once in a while jump on a call and show the agents how to do it and do it live in front of people. But then once that happens, you can grade those calls and you can see the grades here. And in addition to that, it's grading our live follow boss calls. So you can filter the follow boss calls or the AI sales coach. Really, really cool data. It's like LP Mama script on steroids. There's all the elements that you need to ask, and it's grading it. It grades it individually, per agent, per phone call, as a group. If you want to see how you're doing as a company, trending up, trending down, are you asking for the appointment? Like, that's one of the biggest things we track. If you just ask, you'll meet more people, and you're afraid to ask a lot of times. I love the word cloud. It tells me in this time period that I selected, these are the typical objections the agents are seeing. So, I mean, if there's a sales manager,
really
go ahead.
quick. A couple of things. Just want to make sure people get this, because I think this gets skipped over. These are the objections that Maverick is pulling out of the conversations that your agents are having with the people in your database. You guys know in real time to start hitting the most common objections in that period. All right. We're gonna have to move on, but I really want to answer this question. Mary, yes, you have access to this in Canada. This works in Canada. In Canada, we have now just also released your own number, so you're not calling US numbers. So yes, 100% of this works in Canada. Sorry.
No, yeah, it's good. Quick success story. A couple weeks ago, I had a newer agent to us, really scared about making the AI phone calls, and so I walked her through it. She made the phone calls. Then she went into the ponds the next day and actually called live people. She knocks on my door. She's so excited. She busts in the door and she said, Daniel, I set 2 appointments. I set 2 appointments out of these ponds. And I was like, oh, it's awesome. Tell me about it. She's like, the AI script practice gave me the exact objections that I had. And she said it prepared me for those calls. Like, I didn't ask for that feedback from her. She just said, this is what helped me set these 2 appointments. One was a buy, sell, and one was a buyer. So this is the real stuff that moves the needle, so that when these objections come for you as an individual agent or for your agents that you're leading, they're not hearing it for the first time. They're not thinking about, how do I help these buyers overcome these objections, these sellers overcome the objections. So this is one of the my favorite tools that we
Okay,
have.
can you show just real quick, and we got to move on. If you look over to just maybe toggle it over into like one of the call gradings.
Yeah.
What's really cool here is you can quickly go in and see who is scoring, what they're scoring. But a quick drop down, it literally goes in, grabs that. So this is different than that transcription that's in Follow Up Boss.
Yeah.
This is pulling out different things, the coaching tips, the summary. Did they ask for appointments? Did they get motivation? Did they get this? What's really cool, just remember there's two different things here. It's grading what your agents are saying on the calls. And then you can also change the toggle to find out who's calling the AI robots to practice and role play. And it's also giving them coaching. And what's really cool too is you can go in and edit the AI coaches that you're and metrics to set this up. So if you're a Zillow team, Daniel, we do Zillow Flex, you do Zillow Flex. If you want to practice ALM or Google LSA, any of that, you can set up basically the role play bots to basically grade and score how you want your team to be asking. So I love
that was a new change. Yeah, custom grading just came out, pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, we set up a grading tool for ALM, and we added something else there, one other element to it. But you can basically select how you want to grade your agents. Maybe they're not asking for the appointment. Maybe they're not talking about buyer agreements. Whatever thing you want to move the needle on, set up the grading metric for that. And the ALM is just a new one that's awesome. That's helped us with Zillow for sure.
And they're called, and if you're not a current Maverick user, don't call these numbers that you see. I'll post in chat later. We have some practice numbers that you guys can call that you'll actually get the results. If you got these numbers, you're not going to see what's happening. All right, I'm gonna shorten this. Okay, we had two on the top. I want to jump to one bottom of funnel question, just for time. Appointments. I'm obsessed with monitoring appointments right now. We spend so much time top of funnel talking, role playing, learning this to set appointments. And when I watched you go through this, man, I'm like, holy crap. I pulled up the same report in some of our accounts, and I hate to even say this, but you can't fix something until you identify that it's broken.
Sure.
But a lot of our teams were at 90% or more no appointment outcomes. We didn't realize that how many of our appointments were getting missed, not rescheduled, and no outcomes. And now we're losing on the automations and follow-up, or we're losing on everything else because these appointments don't get outcomes. So show us real quick how you're managing and monitoring appointments now that you've got there. Because this is bottom of funnel. This is as close to those commission checks as you can get.
Yep. So these are appointments. So it's a combination of Zillow Flex, direct phone calls, Ojo, or an inside sales agent setting an appointment from a Ylopo lead for our agent. So that's to me one of the most important things to measure is that very first appointment. All the stats will show you that people tend to use 80-something% of the first agent that they meet, right? So how did you conduct that first appointment? Was it held? We study this stuff. We become obsessive with it and make sure that our agents are following the protocol that's going to increase their appointment held rate. And then are we getting the data? So it's one thing you teach the agents how to do it, but then we have to be able to inspect the data. And so it's not the data, well, the system isn't always perfect. There's never a perfect system, but you want to be able to click on a button and see where's the thing that needs to be corrected. So to your point, Gabe, no outcome needs an update. Okay, so these are within last 3 months that we sent an appointment out and the agent has not yet told us what happened to it. So there's some here, and we'll go through with the sales manager and be like, hey, what happened with this one, happened with this one? So what happens is 1 hour after the appointment happens, through automations, they get a text message that says, did you meet this person? 1, yes, 2, no, 3 canceled, 4 rescheduled. Whatever number that they hit, this is the genius. It updates Follow Boss. They don't even have to go into Follow Boss. So really, there's very little excuse other than people maybe just having a lot of appointments. They don't know what's going on, or they just get behind on it. But they can always go back, hit that 1, hit the 2, update it. The next text message says, what stage do you want to put them in? And 1, showing homes, 2, submitting offers, 3, whatever stages you have correlated in Follow Boss. They hit the number, it updates Follow Boss, right? They don't have to go in there. The third and final text message is leave notes, right? Leave notes. So they go in and they leave the notes, and Follow Boss gives us all this great data, and we know if they've met. I can, these are all of our appointment types. We were talking about this with the ISAs, buyer consults, listing meetings, virtual showings, virtual consults, all these things. I want to know, are we holding one particular appointment type above another, or is one just not working? which one is converting better than another. If one's working and one's not, we need to shift and not do those types of appointments anymore. So it really makes it pretty foolproof for the agent to be able to give us good data, and then we can inspect it.
I'll do me one favor before we jump. Will you click
Yeah.
right here? This is the area I'm obsessed with.
Yep.
Especially any team that's doing Zillow, Realtor.com.
Me too.
Click to call that G was just talking about. Anything inbound. What I'm seeing, and I've sat down with huge teams across the country in this area, is we're getting them set, but sometimes the reschedule or the no-shows, as we can inspect these up closer, aren't getting the same love that are top of funnel.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, man, we've got to give the same love to our bottom of funnel opportunities as we are at the top. And this is literally shedding a light on that so easily for us to be able to inspect. So I'm gonna still back share really quick. Daniel, I skipped one of the questions, but I want to wrap up here for Barry. I did put together some information just in case we were running over it. Had a feeling we might be. So I did go through, and I'll get this slide deck out to everybody, but went through each one of the topics that we covered. What's the win as a team lead? Why we need to be doing this? What is the win as the agent that's helping you so that we're not feeling micromanaged or anything like that? So that you guys have all the information. We didn't get into how you are distributing opportunities. I love it. I'm just going to talk about it really quick. I love that you're rewarding your top converting agents because Maverick's going through and identifying who they are. When you set your ISA team sets appointments in certain areas, certain price points, it's identifying those agents with those specialties and rewarding them with the first dibs on those appointments, right? So I love that it's really rewarding them and showing it. And that's part of the culture. So questions that were in there as far as Maverick. First of all, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you jumping in last minute. I wanted them to hear real world how you're doing this. If you scan that QR code, the pricing is really based on your team size and what's going on, how you're using it. This is from AI to appointment review, or all the different reports and stuff that Suneet was talking about that we didn't even get a chance to show you. But we also put together some promotional pricing to get people in here and use this. So you guys can scan that QR code. Earlier, Bitly was putting up an odd little ad that lasts for about 5 or 6 seconds. So if you do see that when you scan this, if you just wait 6 seconds, it will disappear from there, and you'll be able to see the pricing and set up a demo to check that out. So biggest thing that I've learned from Daniel, and I appreciate it, was just really how to get in there and identify these leaks or holes that we all have in our business, and then highlight it to where I think it's just a win for the agents and how it's affecting their immediate paychecks, commissions, and income. So Daniel, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Buddy.
Yeah, happy to be here. Yep.
Yeah, guys, such good stuff. I know personally I'm better as a result of working with the both of you. You challenge me, bring up ideas that I'm able to execute on, and seeing how you guys are slicing and dicing through Maverick. There's so many questions in the chat. Gabe, you should go back up and just scroll through and just find some more, because I think there's a lot of people that are, I think right now with the way transactions are, people are just trying to squeeze as much as they can out of their current database. So spot on stuff. All right. So listen, we're going to be announcing Elena keys here in just a second. We are running behind and we had to make a decision. And I texted the speakers after Elena and Alex and said, hey, we're behind. You know what they all said? They're so excited about pouring into all of you and your businesses right now and impacting your mindset. They're so pumped to be with such a committed, dare I say, addicted group of real estate professionals that are trying to level up. I mean, Janelle, wouldn't you agree that having this type of environment of professionals, it's inspiring, right?
Absolutely. I can't see how many people are in the in this right now, but
hundreds. Yeah, several hundred.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it is people that are committed on this beautiful day to focus on their business. So our next speaker is absolutely crushing it with all things real estate teams, CRM, database management, action plans. When you see someone post in the Follow Up Boss community, who should organize my list? I mean, Janelle, am I right or am I right?
All right. Elena is amazing. And
Elena's got this great business strategy now. It's such a flex. She screenshots all the people recommending her and shares them as stories like that. When I saw that, Elena, I was like, you cannot get any better from a marketing perspective. I don't know who came up with that, but that was amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the intro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we're excited to have you pour in. I remember working with you on the title, and I think it really summarizes what you're going to do. High tech, high touch: the secrets to turning leads into clients.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, there's definitely been a theme that's been moving across this entire day. So I'll definitely be diving deeper into that. And bear with me, I'm going to share my screen. And I apologize if you hear any background noise while I'm chatting. My daughter's home for the week.
Totally fine.
So she's having fun with her babysitter, but they are being a little bit loud. But yeah, high tech, high touch, secrets to turning leads into clients. I'm going to be sharing two of the bigger struggles that I've been seeing agents, team leaders with their agents and brokerages having. The first one is something that I've been seeing trending more and more lately, going into, I guess, starting later last year and definitely exponentially growing going into mid 2025, especially with AI and all of the fun things you can do with AI. And that is basically relying on everything else except themselves to help them push the needle down and convert more leads. So the first thing that you may see on this list is something that is nothing new. We've heard this for years and years, 20 plus years at this point, whether you say this to yourself or you've heard agents within your company say it, that the leads that you're receiving or giving are terrible. Ones that are newer that you might be hearing often are AI texting isn't converting for you, the AI voice isn't working for you, the drip campaigns or the automations you've set up for you, this particular lead conversion tool you've signed up for isn't working, or you feel like you're wasting money, this particular CRM you've signed up for isn't working, so it must be that. So let me cancel it and sign up for this other thing. That must be the problem, not me. So it's not like these tools are bad. In fact, they should be used, and most of them are not bad. And Ylopo is, if you're a user of Ylopo, then they are one of these tools that are providing so many wonderful things of lead conversion and AI voice and AI texting. But they are not meant to replace what you are doing. That's been the big theme that's been mentioned throughout this entire event. It's not meant to replace what a human should be doing to nurture and build a real human relationship, starting from the very beginning of what set the tone of this event, of what Preston said, of what's really going to make a difference of whether or not you convert someone is the initial conversation that an agent has with a consumer. And this is a big trend I've been seeing of relying on everything except yourself to help converting a lead. It's been happening so much lately that I created this graphic, this little infographic to help people visualize this. Last year, people were coming to me saying those exact things. It's not something that I just floated in my head. They were coming to me saying, hey, I signed up for XYZ. I think I'm wasting money. I think it's not working. Can you go in and make sure it's working? I don't think it is. Hey, I signed up for your services 2 years ago. I think it was a waste of money, but can you see and do a check and audit and go in? So I would look, and I quickly created this graphic to help them understand that there are two main components to CRM success. And ultimately, I think this should say to your business's success. The first component is passive follow-up. And if you're on this call, if you're a Ylopo client, you most likely already have this in place. You have the passive follow-up of what Ylopo is doing for you, the AI texting, AI voice, the lead generation, the remarketing ads that they do for you, the seller experience, the IDX, the list goes on and on. G just announced like 3 more, 5 more, 10 more things y'all are doing, which is awesome. And then in your CRM, the automation, the action plans, the value-driven content you're sending people. But there is another component to your success, and that's the active follow-up. The calls you're making, the smart lists you're zeroing out, the tasks you're going through, and the inbox you're zeroing out and making sure you're responding to the people who are coming in and sending you a response via email, text, voicemail, and missed call. Then above and below this giant bubble is what drives the active and passive follow-up. So for example, client behavior on the top right. Whenever a consumer comes back to your website and interacts with seller experience, for example, that's going to initiate some type of automation within your CRM, and that's going to initiate a lead being prompted for you to call either via a smart list or a task. So that's high priority. Depending on the stage that you put a person in, is either going to put them in a higher priority or a lower priority smart list and initiate an automation. Depending on the last communication, if you just spoke with someone today, they don't need to be on your smart list to remind you to call them again today. Depending on the number of attempts you've made, if you called them 20 times, you don't need to keep seeing them again. You don't need to keep chasing leads. So they're going to go off into a lower priority list. Tags. There are two main ways leads get tagged, manually and automated. Ylopo adds tags to your leads based on behaviors happening, if they're viewing properties, or also interacting with the AI. When those tags get added, you can initiate automation to try to get more engagement, and those tags can help you direct smart lists to help you prioritize, because those behaviors are very high priority. You want to make sure that those go higher on your list above the leads you've tried 20 times and you haven't reached them. And then the age of the lead, the older they are and you haven't been reaching them, then the lower priority they go. So to recap so far, agents are not utilizing their smart list enough or at all, and they're relying on every other tool to do their jobs, and they're not putting in enough of their own effort. So just to give you a little bit of proof here, this is from an audit from just maybe like a week and a half ago I did. Just a little screenshot from this smart list here that I did. This is from the list called New Lead No Call Attempt. This is not the entire list, just a little snippet of it. These were new leads from various online lead sources with a good number that have no call logged. And I circled this column here to show how long they've been sitting in the CRM without a call. This lead's 14 days old with no call, 10 days old, 10 days old, 10 days old. This is not the entire list. The only reason the oldest lead on this list is 14 days old is because that's the way we've set up the filters. That was the maximum oldest lead in that list to begin with. So we had another list of older leads, no call, 14 plus days old. That list had 1,300 people. So there were 1,300 people with good numbers to call with no call logged. And then I looked at the inbox, because this agent came to us and said, hey, I don't think these lead conversion tools are working. I don't think the CRM setup of action plans are working. I said, well, let's look at your inbox, because I see engagement rates are fairly decent despite the fact that I see lots of leads not being called. So I looked at the inbox. This is one agent's inbox. This is not a team inbox. This is not an inbox showing everyone's numbers of like 100 agents. This is one person's inbox that had 31, almost 3,200 items. When I looked at the inbox, a lot of the items were leads responding directly to an email, text, or an incoming call that had not received a response back. So I pointed out just a couple examples. I didn't go through all 3,200. I showed a couple examples of lead responding directly back to an action plan or a text message saying, yeah, I'm interested in this property. I would like to learn more, or I would like to do a showing, and the agent didn't never respond. And I saw one example where a lead actually sent a follow-up email. Isn't that wrong that the agent isn't doing it? The lead is. Sent a follow-up email saying, hey, I haven't heard back. I'd like to still see the house if it's still available. But unfortunately, the agent was not checking their follow boss inbox or their email. So lots of opportunities missed there. And that hurt to see those missed opportunities. But I do want to share some positive things that can happen if you do put in both passive and active. I did had a wonderful chat with Adrian Goss, who's someone that we've been working with since 2022, who did put in both efforts here. We implemented everything in 2022 mid-year. It was slow going at first because he wanted to learn all of the systems he was implementing. Plus, he was trying to build his team and recruit, so he was very busy. Initially, for the rest of the year, calls made went up 5%, but even so, his appointments went up 16%, and leads responding by email went up 53%. The following year, 2023, appointments set went up 80% compared to the last year. Average call attempts went up 34% compared to last year, and leads responding by email went up 39%. And then 2024 appointments set went up an additional 5%, and leads responding by email went up an additional 52%. Some stats for engagement rates: the new buyer lead plan 75%, home valuation 82%, new sellers 67%, cash offer 70%, new Zillow 86%, back to website 36%. And those engagement rates are measuring either a direct response to the plan or an agent's been reaching the lead themselves manually because the plan's paused. And then I was trying to find specific examples of finding people engaging with the plan, and this one was my favorite standout, showing both the passive and active follow-up working together. So this lead responded to the initial text message after coming in as a cash offer lead. And then Adrian had a conversation with this person over a phone call, booked an appointment, did the appointment, but then this person ghosted him. He just stopped answering his calls and texts no matter how much he did. So Adrian went to MLS and found the listing listed. So that unfortunately that happens. But because this lead ghosted him, he decided to keep an eye on the listing, and he put the lead on a nurture action plan. And I kept seeing that he was putting in notes in 2022, listed for sale. Then I saw notes saying that it's been listed for 70 days. It still hasn't sold. So almost 1 year later, May of 2023, he reconnected with the homeowner, set an appointment, listed it, and sold it 2 months later. So that's one just positive example of having both the passive and active working hand in hand. One more positive example here is a team implemented all of their systems, their lead sources, their CRM in December of last year, and then comparing stats of January through March versus October to December. Their calls logged went up as a team 43%, texts 29%, and this one was just staggering. Appointments set went up 460%, and then the engagements so far for buyers 56, sellers 57, and Zillow 75%. Now I'm going to share struggle number 2. This one's like on the complete opposite spectrum, but it very much happens, which is having unrealistic expectations either for yourself if you're a solo agent, or unrealistic expectations for your team of agents by the filters you're using, or just simply the expectations you set for yourself. So what does that mean? Here's a real life example from an audit I did for somebody just a couple weeks ago. So for example, they had a list of hand raisers, which is good. You want to know all of your hand raisers from Ylopo, but this list here was showing all hand raisers from all time, regardless of when that hand raiser activity happened. So it was showing 69 people, and they were never able to clear the list. So it was always just remaining 69, even if you called someone on that list. Another one was engaging with the AI texting, regardless of when that engagement happened. And last communication was more than 1 day ago. So if you called someone today, this list will go from 1,211 to 1,210, but then tomorrow it'll go back up to 1,211. So pretty much impossible to clear this list. And the expectation for the agents was get these lists to 0. Hot daily, 197 people, pretty much impossible to call 197 people and get all these lists to 0 every day. And then one other example was engage with seller experience, regardless of when that happened. Last communication more than 1 day ago. So if you combined all of these lists up and they were supposed to be called every day and zeroed out, it was a combined total of 1,600 just between these these few high priority lists. I also noticed going into some of the leads that a lot of them were dumped into the hot stage, even though they weren't really hot. They had bad information, there was no communication, or they was just completely empty. It was just the name, email, phone number, and then nothing. So that was kind of proof that they really weren't hot. So they probably shouldn't even be there. So how do you fix this? First, initially reducing the frequency of communication and adjusting the activity filters so that you're not just showing anyone doing something regardless of when it happened. So a lot of these lists were showing leads who hadn't been responding to AI texting or hadn't been engaging in any way in over 2 years. Some of them were like 4 years. So didn't need to see someone who hadn't been doing anything 4 years ago. So here's an example of what filters we adjusted in Follow Up Boss for them. We added this filter here to get it from 1200 to 35. Last marketing text reply, this is a filter Follow Up Boss has for responding either to AI texting or to some type of texting drips service, was less than 14 days ago. So it went from 1200 to 35. So we're only showing people who responded in the past 14 days. Another example here is the seller experience. Instead of just showing everyone for all time, we kept all those tags, but we added one more filter, updated less than 14 days ago. It immediately switched from 118 to 12, a lot more realistic and easier to swallow a list of 12 people instead of 118. And then another example of the hand raisers. We kept all of these hand raiser tags of 69, not just hand raiser tag, but we consider all of these tags high priority. It includes a combination of AI voice tags with some type of indicator that they're high priority. But then we added another filter here where last activity was less than 14 days ago. So it went from 69 people to 3 to show the most recent people. And then for you personally, because all of that stuff's automated, you personally need to make sure that you're updating the information in Follow Up Boss. So a simple example here is a text conversation with a lead. The person says they're already working with an agent and a lender, so they change the stage. So now they're no longer in the list they don't need to be, and they're removed from any possible high priority lists in the future. That's it. I went through those slides really fast just because I wanted to respect everyone's time. So I'm sorry if I spoke too fast, but
No,
I
it
did
was
want to
perfect.
share 2 resources with you all. The left one is to scan a QR code to swipe and steal the exact smart lists and filters that we use for smart lists. If you do want to copy those activity filters and tags that we use. And then the right side not screenshot, QR code is if you wanted to connect and learn more about the services we offer for Follow Up Boss.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Elena. I know so many people just from the comments got a ton of value out of that session, and it's obvious why you're such a valuable asset to the real estate community. So we appreciate you sharing those resources, the Swipe and Steal blueprint, for sure. I know some of my admin are probably grabbing that right now. So thank you again, Elena. We appreciate it so much. And next, I believe we have Alex. Is that right, Janelle?
We do. We have Alex Shakhov. Alex is, let me see my screen. Just, hey, Alex.
Hey, how are you doing, guys?
Hey, Alex.
Excited
Good.
to see you. So Alex, if you all don't know Alex, he is a total genius when it comes to email strategy. He literally knows everything inside and out about email. He's also one of our amazing moderators in the Follow Up Boss Success community, and he is here today. Actually, Alex is in Warsaw. Are you in Poland right now, Alex?
Yeah, so I returned back from Nashville last Friday. Right now I'm in Warsaw, so it's like 7:30 p.m. I'm just before my dinner, having a great time with you guys, and thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. So real quick, you're going to be talking about overcoming email deliverability challenges. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you very much. All right, so I have the slide deck right here. Just wanted to get your confirmation. You all see the slide deck, right?
Yeah, we can
All
see.
right.
Yeah, we got it.
Cool. Cool. So my name is Alex Shakhov, and I'm a founder and CEO of SH Consulting. My company is responsible for email deliverability of over 100 million emails every month. And we work with leading technology companies in the industry, such as Ylopo and Sierra Interactive. We also work with solo agents, small teams, big teams, and large brokerages, such as Gary Ashton, Daniel Beer, Levi Rogers, Kyle Whistle, and people like that. Plus, we have very close relationships with Jimmy Mackin, Elena Key, Preston, Guyton, John Cheplak. And the idea of all of our relationships with those companies and people is to make sure that their emails are not going to a spam folder, that they make the most out of their email deliverability, and that their email servers are being protected from scams, phishing, spoofing, business email compromise, and other email threats. So when it comes every day, there are over 360 billion emails being sent globally. And this is just a confirmation how important for, this is just a confirmation that email, this is one of the most popular email communication channel in the world, and almost every single company in the world interacts with their databases, with their clients, with their people through the email newsletters. So every large enterprise, small shop, or even spammers and scammers, they have access to emails and they send newsletters to random people to their databases. Unfortunately, 47% of the total email traffic today is spam. This is why all of those big companies such as Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, Apple, they have spam filtering systems and algorithms that allow to protect their customers from unwanted emails and spam. This is why the idea of email deliverability is to understand how exactly spam filtering algorithms work and what you need to do to bypass those security gateways. This will allow you to stay in front of your audience all the time. This will allow you to go straight to the primary inbox folder. And today we have 3 primary reasons why your emails are going to a spam folder. And while there are like a million of different factors you have to consider when you send your newsletters, the 3 primary reasons is something that I see happens to the most of the real estate agents and teams. So the first problem with your emails is domain authentication. Normally, we experts say email server configuration, but just because not all of you realize that you have an email server that you have to configure, you have an email infrastructure that you have to connect to your email server to start sending emails to other people, we just call it domain authentication. So every single system that you utilize for email distribution, whether it's a Follow-Boss or MailChimp or Flawdesk, Constant Contact, BombBomb, StreetText, whatever, has to be configured on your email server. In other words, you have to authenticate your domain with that platform. And for most of the system, it's possible to do through the admin panel. So if you're a Follow-Boss user, you just simply go to your admin panel, you go to email domain authentication settings, you see the KIM, SPF, and DMARC records in place, and you just have to copy those records and paste them in your DNS zone. This is important because by authenticating your domain with sending platform, you show incoming email servers like Gmail, Outlook, iCloud, Yahoo, that you are a real sender, that you're a real company that has a real database, you send real newsletters, and you're not just a spammer or a scammer who just compromised someone's email account and decided to send like a lot of unwanted emails to all of those people. Number 2 is database. So I work a lot with solo agents and small teams, and I hear very often that they've been working hard on building their database since early 2000s, and absolutely respect. But the problem with those databases that those people most probably they have a lot of invalid email addresses. So for example, you met someone like 25 years ago. It was like a John Smith, and that person worked at McDonald's. So you got their email address, johnsmith@mcdonalds.com. And right now, today, 25 years later, that person works as a manager at KFC. So the email address that is in your database is no longer valid. And this can bring you a problem with email deliverability if you will be sending emails to that invalid email account again and again. So this is why the idea of every single database is to make sure that you don't really have like invalid email accounts, you don't have a fake email address, you don't have like spam traps and things like that. When incoming email servers, they see that you send emails to people who consistently engage with your emails, they trust you, they see that you're a real company with real database, and they really like you. And every time when you send your newsletter, just think about this. Just think logically about this. If you send like already 10 newsletters to a specific group of people, and you see that there are 20 people, for example, who never open your emails and who have never opened any email that you sent within the last 3 months, what is the possibility that they will open the emails that you will send to them as a part of the next campaign is almost zero. So if they haven't opened previous 10 emails that you sent, there is almost no chance for them to open your 11th emails. So this is why it's a good reason for you to remove those people from your database and start engaging with only people who interact with your emails. Because, and the reason for that is because in email, everything is about reputation and sender trust score. So every single email address, to be more specific, the domain name has its own reputation for every single email provider. So if you send emails to gmail.com users, you have one reputation for your domain. When you send emails to Microsoft, you have another reputation for the Microsoft users and things like that. And the more you interact with your leads in your database, the better your domain and your email address, the better it looks better for spam filtering algorithms of Google, Microsoft for Outlook.com users, Apple for iCloud.com users, and stuff like that. So the idea is to send emails only to the people who engage with your emails consistently, because this proves that you're a real company, people like your emails, and things like that. If they open your emails, if they click the links, if they forward your emails, and even if they unsubscribe from your newsletters, all of these is positive engagement with your newsletters. Because if, for example, someone unsubscribed, they open your email, they scroll till to the bottom, they click the link, unsubscribe, and this made a positive engagement with your email template. And those people who unsubscribe from your newsletters, they still don't consider you're a spammer. They think that you're a good person, good company who sends emails, but unfortunately your emails no longer relevant to those people. Probably they're already purchased their property and they are no longer interested in receiving your emails, but still they don't consider you are a spammer. So this is why every time when you think about emails, just think about how much you pay every month for Google pay-per-click campaign, how much you pay every month for Facebook advertisement, for YouTube advertisement, some kind of TikTok ads, Instagram ads, and other types of online advertisement.
Alex, you got 2 more minutes, buddy. This is amazing stuff.
And the most, yeah, so I'm almost finished. Sorry. So every time when you think about emails, this is one of the most cost-effective communication channel in the world, because you can only pay $100 per month, and you will be able to send hundreds of thousands emails to your database. For example, if you're a Follow-Up Boss user, you pay only $69 per month for your account to access your account, and this allows you to send up to 10,000 emails every day, which means you can send up to 300,000 emails every month just by paying $49 per month. And this is awesome. And this is why emails are so important, because this is a great opportunity for you to stay in front of your audience, to be in front of your network all the time, to show them your name, your company name, your offering, and things like that. So this is why it's so critical for everyone in this industry, in real estate, to know how exactly to send the emails and what exactly achievement you can bring to your business by sending emails to the right people at the right time and by following the pretty much basic email deliverability practices. So my name is Alex Shakhov. I've been in real estate like for 3 years now. And the idea of my company is to make sure that we improve the email ecosystem in general, and we help real estate clients, real estate companies and teams to be protected from scams, phishing, spoofing, and to make sure they make the most out of their email deliverability. So I just specified just 3 reasons why that will allow you to improve your email deliverability even already next week. However, if you'd like to learn more about like best practices of email deliverability and what kind of tools I personally utilize to improve the emails of my clients, feel free to download the free guide from my website.
Alex, that was amazing. And somebody was actually just texting me, asking me, oh, what do you think of Alex? And, is he really that good? And I said, Juefeng G hired him to work on the email at Ylopo, so I don't know how to give a better compliment than that.
Well, there was a question in chat. I don't know if anybody got, but they want to know what it said on Alex's shirt.
I did see that. Yeah. Somebody was asking what it says on your shirt. I still can't see it.
Not from Paris, madame.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I'm not from there either.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. All right. All right. We're gonna do one more poll, and then move to our next speaker. So if you could pull that poll up for us. There it is, popped up on the screen. What's your biggest challenge? Converting leads, generating new business, scaling my team, mastering follow-up. And as you're answering that, if you want a to be entered for a free ticket for the summit, here is the QR code. I'll make it nice and big for you. Why are we thinking about these challenges in your business? Well, we know that in mindset, what Alex just went over with spam and understanding the processes, but, so much of what we do when we think about, high level thoughts and concepts and growth minded talks, having that come off the shelf, utilize the action plans, learn from your peers on how they're selling more houses than you. I can't think of a more unique environment to go to where you get 2 days, pages of notes, and it revolutionizes your business. Gabe, how many times do we have somebody come to us and say Summit changed their business? Honestly.
All the time, and we're going to be highlighting some of those stories at Summit, right? People that were at previous summits that have shared their stories with us on how this has changed their business, their lives. And if you're liking what you're hearing on this, I mean, these are just little snidbits, highlights of where we're going to be going deeper. And then even outside the 2 days of the conference, think about all the time, and Barry, Janelle, you both see this, all the time you're spending with these speakers, with these people in between sessions, in the evening and all that, and those life-lasting relationships that help you grow because you go to things like that. The content's great, it's in the weeds takeaways, but then the relationships that you take from there going forward are priceless.
Yeah. Some of the best conversations happen at the bar.
Yes.
When
yes.
you're
100%. So make sure you guys enter for that. Make sure you come to that in-person event. I accidentally closed out the poll results. So I don't, thank you. So 51% converting leads was their biggest challenge right now. We have entire sessions dedicated to that. Generating new business sessions completely dedicated to how they went from 0 to 60. One guy went from part-time to full-time, and he's going to share how he did it using Ylopo. Scaling teams, several of the speakers just flipped into that. Mastering lead follow-up. How many sessions do we have on that? Like 3, I think. Hearing from team leaders and single agents that are mastering that lead follow-up game.
I think that's key too. We are very diligent about it's not just big, massive mega teams. We have solo agents, agents on teams, team leads. So we're really trying to get voices from everyone on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we have our next speaker. We've got my good buddy, Tristan Ahumada. He has been a source of strength, business, advice, friendship, collaboration, career opportunities. Like, there aren't a lot of people that have consistently poured into me for the last 8 or 9 years of my career. And it was Lab Code Agents. It was the friendship I have with Tristan that really set it all in motion for me. And I'll never forget it. And one of the things Tristan's really good at is understanding the consumer and understanding the psychology of it. So I'm really excited to have him go deep on that. Tristan, please take it away, buddy.
Thanks, man. Thanks, everybody. Can you hear me? Good?
Yes,
We're loud and clear?
we're good. You're clean shaven. I don't know what to do with myself.
I'm super sexy just for you. All right. How much time do I have?
T-Sizzle, we're way over, man. So
10? 10 minutes.
Let's do 10
All right,
minutes.
let's go.
Yeah.
Conversion. It just, you know what? It goes back down to just connecting with people. And I really wanted to talk to you about the psychology of connecting with people. So really quick, everyone, write these 7 things down because this is where you need to start. It starts with you. Shit's broken up here most of the time with all of you. Why? How do I know? I'm a real estate agent. And we struggle up here on a daily basis. So when we show up and we talk to people, if we're not feeling right and up to where we need to be, our conversion sucks because then we get these online leads and we're like, they suck. Why? because you're not there emotionally to be able to handle when they say, I'm just looking. And here are the 7 things, and then we'll go into this other piece. I've got 10 minutes, so we have to talk fast. Number 1, I need you to practice gratitude daily. What does that mean for you? Here's the thing. Studies show that writing down 3 things you are grateful for each day can rewire your brain to focus more on positive experiences, reducing stress and increasing happiness. It starts with gratitude, everyone, in this business and in your life. Why are you in this business? Well, you're in this business to improve your life and to the people around you. But how can you show up better for them if you're not even showing up for yourself? Gratitude. Number 2, engage in physical activity. And it doesn't mean going in the car in the drive-thru at McDonald's. That does not count, everyone. Just write that down. It's actual physical activity. Motion enhances emotion. We know this. It's science. When you get into movement, you dump chemicals. You're like, oh, that's right. How come I feel so good after just walking? It goes back to way past our time. Ancient Greeks used to go walk around and be like, you know what? Every time I walk around, I seem to have better ideas. Aristotle, Socrates, Plato. Number 3, surround yourself with positive people. Here, I took this theory. It's called the emotional contagion theory. Write that down. Emotional contagion theory suggests that we absorb the emotions of those around us. Sounds like Jim Rohn, right? We didn't need a theory to tell us that. We know. Like, you hang around people that are not feeling the greatest and are complaining about everything possible, including the market, you end up complaining about the market too. Number 4, control your focus. Dr. Martin Seligman, I didn't even know this existed, but the founder of positive psychology, I didn't know that it existed, positive psychology, found that people who focus on what they can control instead of what they can't are significantly happier and more resilient. Like, I'm looking for things that I can control. What is it? Oh, it's just me. Oh, got it. And the way I react? Oh, shit. You mean I can't control the media and politics? I can't control where the market is? Right? Think about that. Number 5, use mindfulness and deep breathing. Some of the interviews that I've done with like Jocko Willink and some other Marines and just high-level people, they talk about breathing. And they talk about how they had to go train to breathe. And you know what we forget to do on a daily basis? When we're talking to people, when we have a hard day, breathe. Just breathe with me. Just relax. Like, you're talking to somebody and they're yelling at you, just breathe. You don't need to yell at them back. Take a deep breath. Breathing. If you think Marines under heavy fire can handle what's going on because of their breathing exercises, you don't think you can't handle an agent yelling at you or a client upset at you? Number 6, engage in meaningful work and hobbies. This was a big one for me. Research from Yale University found that people who engage in activities that bring a sense of purpose and fulfillment experience higher levels of well-being and long-term happiness. Here's the thing. We get into real estate, we get into a team or a brokerage or a coach or whoever, and they say, you should be doing this. That's the wrong thing. No, you should be doing the things that you actually are great at, that you enjoy doing, and collaborate with those other things that are in this world, in my vertical. So if I'm great at talking to people, my background's all on telemarketing. So what do you think I jumped into? Talking to people on the phone and in person, and I'm really good at it because I love doing it and I was trained on it. But you come in and I'm telling you, you're going to have to make cold calls and you're going to have to train when your specialty is online and social media, and I'm taking that away from you? No. Don't let other people tell you what to do that goes against your strengths. That's up to you to line them up. Number 7, limit exposure to negativity. Did I even have to tell you number 7? Yeah, I did, apparently. Studies show that consuming too much negative news, social media, and toxic environments can increase cortisol, the stress hormone, leading to anxiety and lower emotional well-being. And you can see that a lot of agents live in this little world of anxiety and a problem with emotional well-being. And we didn't get into this business to get more anxiety and to have more challenges with our mind, right? We got into this to make an amazing career and a living out of this. And so if you're not doing well mentally, if you don't set these 7 things as priorities, what happens? Well, when you're talking to people and trying to connect with them on a deeper level, right? When you're looking at something like this, it's PSLV, and I'm going to go through this in 2 minutes. And they expand. So if you need this, it gets a little crazy. I outlined this a few years ago.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
What is that?
I'm going to explain to you just
All right.
the 4 really quick. All right. And I'll give it out to you right now so you all can have this as I go through this. Let me put this in the chat. All right. And everyone's going to get this one. There you go. You're going to have to get MindMeister. It's free. So don't worry about it. All right. Here we go. When we talk to people, and I'm going to just be specific to online leads, but this applies to everyone. When we talk to anybody, Barry, I'm calling you, and you just came through Google PPC. I'm calling you, and I say, hey, Barry, it's Tristan. Listen, thanks for visiting our website through Google.
You got a great voice.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I practiced. Listen, you're probably not going to be purchasing anything anytime soon, but I want you to enjoy our website. I want to spam you. Tell me, are you looking closer to be to the beach, closer to the beach, or up on the hills? And I'm giving you permission at that point right there, regardless of what you say. I'm giving you permission to waste my time. And a lot of us, you know what we do as agents? We don't give any permission. I don't even want to talk to you if you're not going to purchase in the next 6 months. And that's already the wrong mindset. You need to start with, hey, you know what? I am going to be okay, regardless of where you're at. And Barry, this is in your book. I didn't need to remind you, but everyone pick up Barry's book, but it's in Barry's book. You need to be okay with people and meet them where they're at. And that's part of giving them permission. And then you need to get specific. You see what I did when I said, Barry, are you looking to be closer to the ocean or up on the hills? Are you looking for a house or a condo? Are you looking for a fixer or something to move into? Get specific and then shut up and listen. Because the next thing that we don't do is we don't shut up. We keep going. We ask too many questions. I go, hey, Barry, are you looking to be closer to the mountains or up on the hills? And you know what? Have you gotten pre-approved? Do you have an agent? And I just keep going and I don't wait. And I don't let him dictate where I need to go in order to create this trust and connect with people fast. People don't care about what you need to say until they know that you care about them. And that is the key. It's the key in the real world. And that's the key to connecting. And then when I listen, guess what? I give value based on what he just said. That's the last one. Because now when Barry said, Tristan, I'm looking to be closer to the ocean, then I'm going to say, oh, great. You know what? And then now I know in Malibu, it's going to be Broad Beach. The other half of Malibu it burned down, right? So Broad Beach, unfortunately. And then other areas in Zuma and maybe Point Doom. And I can then give value based on what he's saying. And you circle through this in one conversation. I've circled through this about 7 times. This is the key. But you can't be there unless you have these 7 things. You need to show up better for yourself. That's all I got. I went fast.
Dude,
Go.
So good. So good. Dude, you have so many people in the chat like resonating with what you're saying. It was kind of overwhelming.
So good.
Even Gabe, there was a moment where you kind of lost yourself too, didn't you? That was money. What part was that?
That's where you give them permission, right? Just give them permission. I love that.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't picked up Barry's book, he goes deep into what I talked about when we're giving permission, because he identifies where they're at. It's like they're dreamers, right? It's like they're in the dreamer stage. You got to give them permission to waste your time, to feel okay. Anyway, John, what's up, buddy?
The book is what? Too sexy for sales, Barry?
Too sexy for sales.
Good to see you, man.
That's part 2. Gabe, you just gave away the title for part 2.
I will say it's been out for 3 years and it's still top 20 on Amazon, which is wild for a small time.
Dude, that's because I keep pushing it everywhere I go. I'm like, guys, buy this guy's book.
All time. You guys are like celebrities in the business. Shut up, man.
Oh, John.
No. John, nice to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too. How you been, man?
Good, brother. Good.
Cool.
Listen, I love the clean white hat. It looks really cool, bro.
Yeah.
I like
I got a white with the black.
that. Is really nice.
Isn't it clean? Simple.
I love that.
That's
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Tristan. Janelle, everybody already knows who this is, but will you please do John the honors of introducing who and why he's so amazing?
I will. I was going to say, I don't think anyone here doesn't know who John is, but if you don't know John, he is the guy to go to when, well, it comes to leadership, recruiting, and growing insanely profitable real estate teams. So I basically don't need to say much more about John, but John is
he's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone who lifts you up and also manages to call you out at the same time. So,
well, yeah. You know, when I talk about you, John, you know what I say, as I say, you know, one of my favorite things is when you watch a strong person go through hard things and come out on the other side, super aware of their circumstances, emotions, and that's what we see in you. That's why everybody just really loves to learn from you. And I know we asked you to speak on recruiting, but you know, really just share your heart with us, man. We're excited to hear from you.
What do I got? Do I got 10, 15? How much time I got?
Yeah. You tell us.
Okay. Yeah, well, let me start right there. First of all, thanks. It's really a privilege, and I'm a product of the many people that have gone before me. I think the thing that's important is we're all a vessel, and you know, you hear people talk about self-made. Yeah, I'm self-made only because I listened really closely. I keep a white belt mentality. I have a beginner's mentality. Today, I spend more money in coaching as a coach, investing in my development than I ever have in my career just this year alone. I mean, I'll just be very transparent with you all. I think it's about $375,000 I will personally spend in coaching. The reason being is because I have a responsibility as you, whether you're an individual agent or a team leader, we have a responsibility to the people that we get the privilege to work with. What we get to do is a privilege. It's not who we are. Real estate, whether it's a team leader or individual agent, it's what we do to experience who we are at the highest level in our personal lives. And really keep that really, really close, because if you keep those two attached, then what happens is the really, really hard work that you have to do becomes very, very easy. You know, you've got to keep the head connected to the heart. The heart chooses, mind justifies. And I'll share with you, I think many people know, gosh, we just found out that my daughter has a third heart surgery on Wednesday. And what they said on the one that needs to be done is you wouldn't survive through it. And listen, ice doesn't run through my veins, but why is that important? Why is it really, really important? Because here's the thing that I need y'all to know. You know, the most costly line item on your P&L that's invisible is your emotional immaturity. It is your emotional immaturity. He just called us immature. This guy runs around working with CEOs with a baseball cap and Jordans on. Well, here's another thing I want to point out to you. Be you, everyone else is taken. Stop trying to fit in. And that's going to help you in your lead conversion. It's going to help you in your recruiting, because you want to know what? Like, it's real easy to get in the game. It's real hard to stand out. You know, the hard thing with standing out, and what's this have to do with recruiting in? Recruiting is about being a marketer. By the way, guess what? Tristan just taught you about recruiting. Team leaders trying to get someone productive, that is recruiting. Write this down. We're all in the enrollment business. We're all in the enrollment business. We all go out and we market to people. How do you market? And I want to give you guys a definition on marketing, because the great marketers are great recruiters. The great marketers are great team leaders. If you guys go take a look, and I've watched it happen over and over and over again. I watched team leaders spend $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year on a marketer. They're still the director of marketing every single time. You know what marketing is? Marketing is educating, marketing is informing, marketing is inspiring. So you can write this down, lower the guard of your audience. You need to lower the guard of the buyer and seller. I don't care what script or dialogue you're armed with. Who cares when people aren't listening? Hey, welcome to Nordstrom's. Can I help you? Just looking. No, what they said is my guard is up. They didn't just come into Nordstrom's. Okay. No, I'm not changing companies. Okay. No, we're not looking to buy right now. That's called their guard is up. So the one thing I want you guys to really think about, write these three things down when it comes to, and again, he's here to talk to us about recruiting, but he's going over to, see, we've got to enroll our agents in to take the action they need to take so they can sell a home. We need to enroll buyers to take the action they need to take so they will buy a home. We need to enroll the recruits to take the action, and it's up to us to seed the next step. But the first thing we have to do is we've got to make deposits in the business relationship equity account. No one is saying no to you. What they're saying to you is right now, the business relationship equity account is overdrawn. Let me give you the 3 steps that I think that are universal, okay? Impact, influence, then convert. What I want you to do is I want you to write down under impact, KLT. That's called know, like, trust. Know, like, trust. You know, the most important thing that you need to note in your follow-up with a recruit, the most important thing you need to note in your database, because we work with people that have 1 million leads in their database. We work with people with 20,000 leads. You know, the most important thing you need to have is you look at the notes. What's the last thing that you talked about with them that was personal, and pick up the conversation where it left off personally. And it's the same with the buyers and sellers, and it's the same with the recruits. So the first thing to be able to impact someone, know, like, trust. That's what goes in that silo. And then what that accomplishes is it lowers their guard, okay? And I'll give you the framework, and then I'll go into some specificity around recruiting. I mean, this is rapid fire in the single most important thing. I'll argue with anyone on stage, bring them to me. This is the single most important thing in is the #1 revenue producer for your team or brokerage, period, hands down, period. Argue with me, and I will win because it's the truth. The second piece is this. Okay, now, okay, that I've impacted you, I've lowered your guard. Now I can influence. Influence is educate, inform, inspire. Because now they're going to listen to me. I don't care about your super cheesy, outdated, recycled, reused, vanilla softball pitch scripts and dials, objection handlers. They ain't for shit if the people don't have their guard down. And that's just the truth. And I've got all the great language patterns of being in the trenches as an agent, being in the trenches recruiting. I've been there, okay? So keep those in mind. Here's what I want to declare to you, and this is #1. Recruiting is the single most greatest challenge, single most greatest activity. It is the #1 revenue producer. No, it's not. Okay, cool. Argue with me. Listen, so you can't hold your agents to a standard. Yeah, because you're afraid they'll leave. And you're afraid they'll leave. Here's what I want. The biggest thing that I give you, if you're here for recruiting information, this will flip the script, change the game. Here's what I want you to do. If you have 1 listing right now, this is what really gets it for people, because I think many people have been taught wrong. If you have 1 listing right now, it's overpriced and you're not prospecting and you don't have some CMAs dialed in, who has the power in the conversation? The seller or you? The seller. The seller holds the standard. Kind of like you. You've got a few agents. You're not prospecting. You don't have a pipeline. You're not ready. Write this down. This is a boardroom executive conversation. You're not constantly hiring their replacement. Because guess what? Traditionally, and I got into leadership in 1995. Yes, I am old. Okay. And here's what we saw over time, a natural 30% attrition was very, very healthy. I'm going to tell you what's been healthy right now. And listen, well, not me. There's always outliers, you guys. There's always outliers. And great, okay? That's wonderful. Ryan Young is an outlier, a friend of all of ours, okay? You've got those ones, okay? There's always those out there. But guess what? You want to know what it's required lately? 50 to 75%. Because here's why. Here's why. You've still got people with the hangover of money grows on the tree. I can still go in the backyard and pick it off the tree. You've still got people now that, okay, all right, it required about 15 reach outs to a PPC lead and they'd respond. And today it's 26 and people don't choose before they'll even respond. That's just our data, okay? See, so guess what? Throw in the chat if you have the skill set where you can make your agents do anything. Okay, tell me that you can make your agents do anything. None of you. How are you going to get them productive? I'm going to coach them up. Listen, they need coaching. How are you going to get people productive? I'm going to train them. My training's the best. How do you, oh, your training's the best? How are you measuring it? How are you measuring it? Okay, it doesn't work that way. The #1 way to motivate a human being is have them see you hiring their replacement. Because here's what you've got right now. Here's what I want to say to you right now. I want you to draw a little circle on a piece of paper, okay? And I want you to put the amount of agents you have. If you've got 50, if you've got 25, if you have 10, I'll start with the 50. Right now, are you going to go back to them? Because here's the deal right now. You know what it requires? It requires 20 conversations a day. Conversations. Unless you have super highly skilled people. How do I know? Because one of my coaches is up 50% year to date over last. I just grabbed data. I just used data. He's up 50% last year, year to date. Okay. How about last year, 24 versus 23, entire year? He was up 30% year over year. Is that your number? And I'm not being a dick. I'm just calling it out. I know the industry. It's not, no, you're not up. That's not the common thing right now. You know what? I graded everyone on a curve last year. If you were even, you were excellent. If you were down 20%, you were good. I mean, that's what I saw. If you were up over last year, you were freaking elite. Now, guess what? There's a separation, okay? And I just hope that you hear this. Here's who's going to win, and here's who's going to separate themselves and actually absorb people, okay? Don't get absorbed. Is the person that wakes up every single day and spends 1 hour. Let me give you the down and dirty, super simple. Number one, every single day, you need to use these three tools. And guess what? I've proven it in 5 different businesses that are all profitable, and these are universal, okay? Number 1, Facebook. Number 2, Instagram. Number 3, email. And many of you who know me, and if you don't, watch me, there ain't nothing else magical I'm doing. And guess what I'm not doing either? Spending a dime on marketing. But that's different. You're a coach. Wait a minute. What I do is more close to you in recruiting than anything. Am I not demonstrating my value proposition? Am I not educating and informing and giving away more free stuff than anyone? And I'll argue that. I think my organizations have done 17, 18 free Zooms this year. What do you think we're doing? Sure, we're making deposits, but I don't even have to check my KPIs. You want to know why? Because we make so many deposits. And that's the thing I want you to get. When you make so many deposits in the business relationship equity count in email, Facebook, and Instagram. You know, people say to me, tell me what the algorithm does. Let me tell you about the best algorithm. My words from my mouth to your ears. That's the number 1 algorithm. And write how you speak. You're all looking at this science project. Well, guess what we're doing over here? What we're doing is every single day on Facebook, Instagram, email. And by the way, some of you are here. Throw in the chat if you're on my email list and you've received 4 emails from me in a day. Is there anyone on my email list? God, I pray there is. There's one right there, Janelle. I have. Yeah, and guess what? I've been very transparent, 50% open rates. Here's my point. I mean, I could go and go and go, and I don't want to monopolize the time. Here's the number 1 thing you got to do. A, it's the basics. Listen, give me this, and my Sharpie. I'll out recruit all of you because work works. Work works. I'll introduce you to my marketing team really quick too. There they are, right here. You guys are doing all this fancy stuff. Okay, wake up with an obsession to give value to the market with no connection to what you get from that. Educate, inform, message to market match. What are agents struggling with? Good, share the solution, okay? What's the consumer struggling with? Share the solution. Meet people where they're at. Something educational, if you do this every day, educational, informational, inspirational, 3 times a day on your Facebook, you send 1 email a day that is educational as if you're sending it to your own agents, you do 1 post a day on Instagram, and you pick up the phone and you dial them and you say this, hey, it's John Cheplak at ABC Real Estate. I know you're probably happy at your current company. I just want to let you know if anything changes, we'd love to be your destination. And shut up. And right there, see, I just operate like a pro. You handle objections in advance and you future pace people. This is sales 101. And you shut up. Okay, that's your 3rd one. And they're going to say, I'm not making a move. Guess what? Empathy. Restate back what people said to you. Base your next question on their response. Stop getting all scared. A recruiting call is a waste if you don't sit through 3 objections. Let me give you your 3. First of all, empathy. That's awesome. I've heard great things about your company. Tell me what you like most. You guys want to get in arguments with people. So stupid. People are teaching you backwards sales. Like, who's going to win the argument? Come on. Okay. Are you open-minded about your business? I am. Awesome. Let's sit down for 30 minutes, have a conversation about the only thing that matters, you and your business. No, I'm not making a move. I'm not, no way, no way. Are you a big thinker or a little thinker? Then they'll chuckle too. Because guess what people recognize? Effing skills and guts. I told you, John, man, I'm good. Well, I'm confused. Help me out. because I heard you're a big thinker and you're open-minded. What would get in the way of sitting down for 30 minutes and talking purely about you and your business? And by the way, let me make you some promise. I'm not going to talk about my company, your company, or making a move. It'd be pretty ridiculous for me to ask you to do something that's going to change your life situation and your business situation in one meeting. That's poor leadership, by the way. John, no, and this is where you chicken out. And you say, oh, I don't need to recruit, blah, 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 but you want your agents to recruit every day, hypocrite. Let me say it again. You want your agents to recruit every day in that database, but you don't, hypocrite. Walk the talk, man. I'm just teaching you basic stuff. And here's the third one. I don't know, Barry. I always thought it made sense to sit down with competition, see what they're doing. Why don't we do that tomorrow? It's the Dragon Slayer. I have no magic. Work works. Follow the simple stuff and be a freaking marketer. I appreciate the little bit of time I got with y'all. Thank you.
Man, so many knowledge bombs, dude. The chat was just going crazy. And like, you know, it's he's such a philosopher with this stuff. It actually, like, I don't know. It's there's been a theme today, and John, you really hit it home. Is just there's stuff that we all know we should be doing, and we just need to do the work. You said work works. That's powerful. Well, thank you so much. And we appreciate it, brother. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you guys. Peace out.
And so because we were over time, we made a last minute change, and we're going to finish today with Dale, Archdekin. Dale, your camera just suddenly, oh, there it is. Okay. What I love about this talk on resilience, we're finishing the mindset GrowthCon today with Dale Archdekin. And what I love that Dale is teaching on is resilience, because in 2008, 12 months, I made $1,700 that year profit. And Dale did much better than me. And Dale showed back then, like he's showing right now, is that he's paying attention. He's resilient and pushing through. Also runs a very successful smart inside sales coaching that my agents subscribe to several days a week. They're on those calls, role playing with Dale's team. So really excited for you to finish this GrowthCon today. Dale, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm honored. And I don't know who decided I was going to follow Cheplak, but we're going to have a talk about the session schedules next time.
It was Janelle. Janelle.
Oh,
no. Hey, Cheplak is fantastic.
Post about it in the Follow Up Boss community. Let's just, just bring this chat.
I'm going to post about it.
Take it up.
Yeah. So, when Barry asked me to talk about resilience, I'm like, I don't know, man. What am I going to talk about? Like, I just do this stuff. And half the time, I don't know if I should keep doing it, to be honest with everybody. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's what you're talking about. I am still doing it after a long time, and I'm very successful at it, and people love what we do. And I'm just being honest, man. I am dead honest with all of you right here. I don't have any perfect answers, but I'm going to give you today some of the techniques and strategies that I use to keep going. Again, being honest, like, there are definitely times when I'm like, should I be doing this? Is this the right thing to do? Like, real estate investing looks way easier than getting agents to pay money to teach them how to do their businesses better, or some days, right? But I'm going to share this with you guys. I want you to write this down. The next time that you're bitching about how difficult the real estate industry is, or the fact that your leads aren't converting, or that you don't want to call anybody, write this down. Dale said, call your biggest competitor and say, I quit. I want you to read that statement. The next time that you feel like quitting, read that statement. And if you reject that concept, if you fight against it, if you're like, no, F that, I'm not doing that, good, then you're in the right place. If the answer in your head is, maybe I'm going to do that today, then go for it, okay? Then quit. There is no shame in ringing the bell if this is not the right place for you. It is hard. It is a grind. And, I just read this book, The Dip by Seth Godin. It's a fantastic book. I think you should grab it. And he talks about how you have two choices. It's either that you're going to go all in and you're going to be a badass at this and you're going to do the best that you can, or you're going to quit, because anything in the middle is a waste of your time. And that little tip of call your competitor and tell them that you quit, I got from my wife. a couple of years ago, I was bitching about how hard it was to create a coaching and training company or scale a coaching and training company in an incredibly crowded space. Because I don't know about you, but at least in real estate, to sell real estate, you have to get a license. Would you be shocked to know that you don't have to have a license to tell other people how to sell real estate or to teach them how to carry on scripting and dialogue? So I'm complaining to my wife, right? And she finally is like, great, call up the 800-pound gorilla coaching company and tell them you quit. And I was like, maybe tomorrow. It changed me. I did an about face immediately. I was like, stop whining, stop complaining. I'm going back to get it done. So I just want to share that with you guys today. And, you know, when Barry was talking about resilience and sticking with it, yes, in 2008, I decided I was going to get into selling real estate and the entire world collapsed, right, around selling real estate. But I am very stubborn and I just kept doing it in spite of myself. In 2020, when people shut down real estate sales, my company lost half of our coaching clients almost overnight. Because people are like, I can't afford to pay for, I can't sell real estate right now. How am I going to pay you to tell me how to sell real estate? And so in that moment in 2020, I was like, I got two choices right now. I can either accept this or I can get in front of it. And I decided to get in front of it. So I just went out there and I said, hey, I bet you're just as freaked out as I am too. Well, here's how I would have the real estate conversation with your prospects who are freaking out about not being able to leave their house or whether they can conduct their businesses. And I did it for free. And I went out there and I said, hey, listen, I'm either going to be led or I'm going to lead. And I went out and led and it doubled my business in the same year. So it's that kind of stuff. I didn't know that that was going to happen. I just got in front of it and did it. And so one of the lessons that I take now that I'm learning, I'm still learning this and I'm still doing it and I'm still trying to apply it in more ways, is going all in. Go all in. It's one of the things that Seth Godin talks about in that book, The Dip. You know, and if I look back over my years, I managed to get through college, put myself through college, and I wanted to quit all the time, but I finally decided I'm just going to go all in, and I actually accomplished it. First person out of my family to go to college. You know, I went all in with my relationship with my wife. At one point, literally, this is the conversation I had with myself in my head. If I am 1 foot out in this relationship at all times, I will never be happy. I either choose her or I don't choose her, and I choose her. And that was the answer, and that was it. And it cleared up a lot of things for me. You know, I've gone all in with my kids. Now, of course, we love our kids if you have them, but you don't have to like them. And you don't actually have to spend a lot of time with them or do things with them or do the things they like to do. So I've decided to go all in with my kids, and it has made a much better relationship. I've decided to go all in my coaching business, you know, and really give a shit about every single client who comes to us to have us help them improve their businesses and the way that they interact. And there's lots of ways that I could conduct my business that would be more profitable or more scalable, but I choose impact over profit because I'm all in on that concept of helping people. So write that down, all in. Are you all in or are you not? Do you have 1 foot out of this business or do you not? And again, I'm not preaching. I'm in the stands with you, and I'm saying that this is something that I remind myself of. So whatever I tell you today are the things that I'm reminding myself of. And Barry, you just flagged me off. How much time do I have left?
We're way over time, buddy. So when you're done, you know, so just finish your thought. Like, you know, you're encouraging everybody.
Here are 4 principles I'm going to give you that I personally use myself, which is the less and the more. Write that down, the less and the more. Here's what I figured out. The less that I do something, the less I'm going to do it. The more that I do something, the more I'm going to do it. And this works good or bad, right? The more I drink alcohol, the more alcohol I will drink. The less I drink alcohol, the less alcohol I will drink. And then it works for the positive. The less I call my leads, the less I prospect, the less I'm going to prospect. The more I prospect, the more I will prospect. The more I work out, the more I will work out. So the more and the less is something that I use all the time. Do I want less of this? Do I want more of this? I just have to do it. I actually stopped journaling because I discovered for me that I was journaling and all I was doing was navel gazing. Do you know what navel gazing is? Navel gazing is just like running around in your own head about, oh, I'm not doing the things I should do. Maybe I should do the things I should do. Maybe I'll do the things I'll do under this other circumstance, or why am I not doing the things I am not should be doing? Go do the goddamn things. I stopped journaling about it, right? I realized that if I start thinking I'm not doing the things I should do, I should just go do the damn things I should do. And then the more and the less principles will take over, because I'll start doing it, and then I'll start doing more of it. And then I'll be happier. All right, so one more. The forest or the trees. This is a big one for me when it comes to me doing webinars and teaching people, flying where God knows where to speak live, working my leads in a database, the forest or the trees. When I get into a headspace where I'm like, oh, this is not important, these people don't need this, or they're all going to reject me, or everybody's going to say no, I'm focused on the forest. It's a monolith. But then if I'm like, wait, the forest is made of trees, individual trees. No, Dale, focus on the trees. There's space between these trees. There's gaps between these trees, and not every tree is the same. So turn it to the side and you can see the gaps and spaces and the uniqueness of the trees. So find the trees that need you, that need your help, and get out of the forest thinking. That helps me a lot. I use that all the time.
So good.
Me or you, if I don't feel like doing this, if I don't want to have this conversation, if this is not going right, if I can't overcome your objection, who am I most concerned about in that moment? If I don't want to call my leads because I'm afraid of being rejected, if I don't want to stand up and take one more bite at that apple in an objection, it's because I'm focused on me and not focused on you. Refocus on you, the other person you're talking to. What's in their best interest? What do they need? And then, me or you, stop journaling. Yep. All right. Find what works for you. So I just gave you a couple of techniques that I use.
It's amazing.
But, I could have told you a couple of years ago, oh my God, you have to journal every day. I discovered that journaling every day was keeping me from doing the stuff I needed to do. So find what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, and honestly, like so much of that, you're doing you know what I mean? Like your hairstyle would not work for me, right? And it's working for you, right? You're doing you, I'm doing me. But like on a more serious thought, like what a great way to end the first GrowthCon, because we're going to do another one of these before the end of the year. But what a great way to end the session. Wouldn't you agree, Janelle?
My gosh, so good. I was just thinking to myself how amazing it is that I have all of you to pour into me constantly, and how lucky all of you were to listen to this today, because how I've been able to grow over the past year. So I appreciate all of
Absolutely. And
thanks for having me, guys.
Gabe, I know that this was a topic that's near and dear to your heart as well. Just pushing through, right, buddy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, give it up for Barry and Janelle too, getting this all together and hearing we're going to do this again later this year. I'd love to know, just chat. I mean, big shout out to these guys. Who got something out of today that you're going to take with you, whether just into the next coming day, quarter, month, whatever it is? Would love to see it. You guys killed it.
Yes, there will be a recording. Oh, so many people. Yeah, so many thanks. This is amazing. Yeah, really rewarding stuff. And thank you. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it.
Bye, everyone.